Okay, so we should be going live now. I mean, it looks like it's just two of us in the room currently, but most people will be able to listen to this at some point in the future. All right, cool. Hearing my disembodied voice.
Sound check.
On delay. Yeah, just make sure we're sounding all right. Okay, so since we don't really have anybody in the chat as of yet, we're just going to hit the intro and get started with roundtable number 56. We're chugging right along with these numbers, man. It keeps throwing me through a loop. Like, it feels like we just did 50, and like I just have like no memory of like anything. Now it's like
anything post 50.
Now it's like 56. Like, wait, where did the last 6 episodes go? Like, yeah, it's kind of tripping me out a little bit. All right, so go ahead and mute us real quick and hit the intro and get started.
The Dark Tower by Stephen King. The man in black fled across the desert. Gunslinger followed. Our other guns. It's time we had our own palaver, I think, and it's going to take
That dauntless slughorn to my lips, that child Roland to the Dark Tower.
got caught.
Hello and welcome to Dark Tower Palaver. This is our podcast covering Stephen King's Magnum Opus, the Dark Tower series. My name is Tad.
And I'm Peter.
And we're here for roundtable number 56.
What number?
56.
56?
C.
Where'd 50 go?
That's almost 57.
Almost. Not quite.
Yeah, so we're here for the new roundtable here. We were here just not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, doing roundtable 55. And so we're going to hit one more a round table here, and then we'll be back to a book club. So what?
I keep waiting for Eddie.
I know every time I text you, I'm like, oh yeah, recording this week here on book club.
Book club?
Oh no. You should be onto this pattern by now. Two round tables than a book club.
I don't care. Book club?
I mean, once we get to book 4, we'll just do book clubs wall to wall.
We'll wait like a year and a half to get to it like we did for book 2.
Yeah, I guess it would all depend on how the TV show goes.
Ooh.
That would be the thing that would mostly figure into how things are going to go.
But I can't wait.
Let's go ahead and jump into the normal intros, though. For anyone that is new, anyone that's older can probably recite these by memory unless they're just skipping ahead on them, which I say that because I do the same thing.
Just because you said that, I'm going to do mine out of order today. Just because you said that.
But no, it's like it's any podcast I listen to for any regular period of time. It gets to the point where like I know their email by memory and stuff because I hear them, throw it out there and stuff. But and I would just think about that sometimes with people's intros, it's the same way. So yeah, I don't know. Are you still in the chat?
Yeah, I'm back in.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say something shows that you're not.
Yeah, I had to go to.
Oh, okay. I see.
On my notepad.
I see.
Calm yourself. Sir.
Well, as I was saying, like, I think I'm still in there, right? But
no, we kicked you out. We had a vote.
Yeah.
We're done, Ted.
After last time, dude, that whole the Eddie tattoo idea, dude, I was laughing like for the last 2 weeks. It would just randomly enter my head, and I would think to myself, like, that was actually a little bit mean even for me, but it really made me laugh.
Yeah. Hashtag Ted is terrible.
Oh,
that
dude.
deserves a double one from last week still into this week. That was mean.
Oh, dude, that just came to me too. Like sometimes I'll think it was like some horrible thing to say to you, like in the time leading to a show. But that one was just spur of the moment, and yeah,
that's when you're at your worst. It really is.
Just off the cuff,
Tad.
Oh man. Yeah, that was I had to at least let you know that it made me laugh a number of times during the last like week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, good. My pain made you laugh.
Yeah, that's the important thing, right? Okay, so first of all, I want to warn you guys about spoilers. If you have not finished the seven main books of the Dark Tower series, you may want to cry off this podcast and focus on our book club episodes. If you have finished the books, you can continue on listening. You'll be fine. But if not, just be warned, we will potentially spoil freely in these episodes. There's never really a plan of what we're going to spoil, but it does happen. So sometimes just randomly. Especially with an episode like this where we're hoping to get into some heavy emails because people will jump all over the book series to talk about stuff. So if you're like in the middle of book 5, for instance, yeah, you may not want to listen because we may spoil something from book 6 or 7 or whatever, the end of the story. And we wouldn't want to do that to you, but you are warned. So if you do continue to listen, which we have had people do before, you may get spoiled.
Yep.
Then also, if you want to find us, you can find us on iTunes. You can also find us on Stitcher if you're into the whole streaming thing versus downloading. You can also find us on any podcast service. If you're on like an Android device or Windows device, there's a lot of cool podcast apps out there. We should be available on all of them. The only thing that I think we're not really on is Spotify, and they are a tough get to get into.
They're hard to get on.
Yeah, there's a number of podcasts I listen to, and some of them that are like ranking on the top, like iTunes charts and stuff, and they can't even get on Spotify. Like they're like, you know, getting their listeners to like almost like petition Spotify to get on there. I'm like, okay, so someone like us that, you know, we get on the top of like the trending for like the literary side of things every once in a while, but we definitely don't have the kind of drawing power of like some of these big podcasts. And so I highly doubt that we would be able to get on there without some kind of fighting, but I will look into it still. I haven't yet, but we'll definitely get to that. And also, if you can be so kind as to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, that helps the show get some visibility and helps new people find us. And we always want to grow our content because
the more the merrier.
Yeah, indeed. And it's always fun to I don't know, talk to new people, get some questions and stuff. And that actually segues nicely because I finally got the website is up and running.
Yay!
So yeah, I finally got that sorted out with the nonsense with the people that were that something had gone wrong with the installation of like the software and stuff. So they got it all fixed. So I got it put up there. It's just a basic blog thing. The thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is I did create something that we've been talking about for a while. Is on the right hand side you'll see like the stuff like categories, and it has like the show notes and episode posts, but also there's one that says post for newcomers, and it's actually one I just posted today, but that'll be stuck in that area to where even a year from now, if you wanted to click on that post for newcomers, you'll get a post that has some of the questions that we ask people. So for instance, like
welcome survey.
Yeah, like you know, if you're doing your first email, some stuff to answer, things like how did you come to reading the Dark Tower series? Have you read another King book before these? If so, which ones? What King have you read since finishing the journey to the Tower? Did you have to wait for the books to be published over the years, or did you come to the series post 2004? Which of the books is your favorite and why? Which are your favorite character? Who is your favorite character of the series? Did you stall out during the series when reading it for the first time? Have you reread the series? If so, how many times? Most emotional the series made you while reading it. Could be sadness, excitement, joy, anything in between. What did you think of the movie? And I put in parentheses, do not be ashamed to give your honest opinion. We have people on all sides and we are welcoming to all. Do you have any cool stories about reading the series? If you were recommending the series to someone who didn't have the first clue about them, how would you explain the series as briefly as possible? The elevator pitch, as some might call it. That's like the ones that I have typed up there so far. If there's other ones that we're forgetting, I wanted to even read that just for your benefit too, Peter. If you think of something, we've had a few over the years now that we've kind of added to that list, but that's something I could always edit this post and add things to it that if we've forgotten them and stuff. So that'll be really cool to have that for new listeners and stuff. So yeah, check out the website then at darktowerpalaver.com, and it'll bring you over and it'll just have all of our show notes. For instance, for the last episode where we have Chris's map, the Heavy Temple album cover, and then some Conan videos because Peter...
that clown.
Now, it's funny because, of course, before posting such things, I had to watch them again.
Of course you did.
Which always makes me laugh. It's so funny, dude. It's great. I love it. I love Conan. But yeah, so check out the website, and you'll have all of our show notes and show posts as well. So like, I don't know how people necessarily find the show if you don't have it subscribed. But it'll be posted on there where I'll give you a link to the show as well. So check that out, and yeah, we'll keep that updated. So that's great to finally have that. And it also has some links to things like social media and whatnot, some of the things that Peter's about to tell us about. So if you want to join the Palaver, you can find the stuff links to the stuff on our website with just the big icons. You can click on them, it'll go to the stuff. Or if you're the old-fashioned way and like to type things out, Peter can tell you what to type out exactly to find us.
So if you want to find our shows, find us on YouTube. I told you I was doing it out of order this time. YouTube.com/Dark Tower Palaver. You can tune in live. Like we got a couple people in the chat now, I see. That you can see, you can interact with us. You can also watch the older shows and see the slides that Ted puts up for me. Stuff that always goes into those show notes, like that Conan clip and everything. We're on Twitter. It's @DarkTowerPod. That's @DarkTowerPod. You can also find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/DarkTowerPalaver. And the best way to reach us is email. It's darktowerpalaver@gmail.com. Go ahead and put in the subject line what you're discussing. And don't forget, we also take book club emails. If you want to put a book club email out there, just put it in the subject line. We'll read it on the next book club.
Yeah, indeed. Now that I think about it, I wonder if I can do the link to the email address the way that I did the rest of these.
Yeah.
If so, I could add a new icon for email as well. But right now I have
a little envelope, right?
Right now I have like the
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and then the RSS feed thing. The only thing with that though is I don't know. I guess I could put like an email address maybe because it has you type in like just a URL and it'll like creates the link into that. I don't know how that works with an email. I'll have to test it out and see how it works. But if not, if for now just type the email address, but I'll try to update that and get that potentially added in. And then we also have Cody in the chat.
Hello, Cody.
And Cody says that he finally got his brother to get into the series, and I'm trying to get, and he says trying to get my friend started as well.
So I started a new job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the whole meet and greet. Like, it's 2 months to the day since I started.
Okay.
Okay. So we did the whole meet and greet when we started, and they said, do 2 interesting facts and a lie. And they had to guess the lie, right? So one of the facts is that I do a podcast about Stephen King novels. I didn't say, Dark Tower at the time. I just said Stephen King novels. They all picked that was the lie. I was like, nope, I absolutely do. And everyone's like, what? I actually had a guy come up to me today, and he said, are you Peter from the new training class? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you're the one that does the podcast on Dark Tower, right? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I need to check out your show. I'm a huge Dark Tower fan. He pulled up his sleeve. And he had a Dark Tower tattoo.
What was it? That's the question.
It was a gun with the rose.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then it had the sign of the Eld on it and everything like that. And I was like, that's pretty badass. I was like, yeah, check out the show. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
that's great.
Apparently some of the trainees from my class got on the subject of Stephen King with like all the new stuff that's been coming out. They were talking about stuff on Netflix and Hulu and everything. And one of them mentioned that I did a podcast on something King. And then he's like, the guy got, huh? Podcast Stephen King, what? It was like one of those little like moments.
Oh yeah, that's great. That is awesome. Yeah, so that's fun. What did you do for your lie? Do you remember?
My lie was I had never been out of Utah. That was my lie. Which I've been to like I think it's like 27 or 28 of the states.
Yeah.
So because my dad was obsessed with vacations. I've been to every state west of the Mississippi except for Texas and So
stay away from those rivalries, huh?
I don't deal with those. I already got the Holy War here in Utah. I don't need any more than that.
That is a big one to be missing, though. Texas for sure. In terms of if you think Western states, like I don't know, that's about the most quintessential Western
and you know
state.
what? I have 3 vacations planned for it.
Yeah.
So one of them's with you,
Dealey Plaza. Call me a nerd, man, but I would love to go to Dealey Plaza. That would be.
Did you hear what I just said? One of them's with you. We're going to Dealey Plaza one of these days, sir. Me and you are going to go down there. We're going to hit Dealey Plaza, and then we're going to drive our ass all the way over to Waco and go to the Dr. Pepper Museum.
At least you didn't say Mount Carmel. I was getting worried there for a second. Oh man, have you even seen what the drive distance might be between Dallas and Waco? Because
I looked it up.
From what I understand, Texas is one of the most barren states in terms of like it's one of the only states that you have like spaces between towns that you could completely run out of gas.
Is that one of the questions you had on the entry thing? Do you have a Dark Tower tattoo? That's the one we asked last episode.
Oh, that's true. I actually don't think I added that, but I definitely need to put that one on there as well. for the intro stuff. Yeah, because we did bring that up, and we brought it up a couple times now. But see, it's all these weird ones. Like I remember some of these ones that we've been talking about for 2 years now, but some of these newer ones, I was just like, shit, I know I'm going to forget some of these because I don't know. We've only said them a few times now.
Okay, Dallas to Waco is 95 miles. Calm the fuck down.
I'm just saying, I
have to swear every episode now after I got called out. All right,
because people thought they'd heard you swear for the first time.
I still don't know about that.
That tripped me out. I don't know. Yeah,
it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I think we'll be just fine going to Waco.
Just making sure. Okay, so that is that for the intro stuff. And then
your announcement.
Oh yeah,
let's hold on 1 second.
Then we got I had to change the slide over too. I still had it saying show will begin uno momento. So yeah, so roundtable number 56. So first of all, I want to talk about if you are not following us on social media, we have a little bit of a change to the Unfound Door. As we all know, a new Stephen King book just hit, and I don't know if everyone knows this, but as Peter probably knows, Tad doesn't have very good like what do you call that? Self-control.
No, he has horrible control when it comes to things that he likes.
So when I was like,
one example, I'm looking at his shelf. He has God. 8 or 9 different versions of every Star Wars movie. And then the classic one is, I think I've mentioned this before on the show. How many copies of Terminator 2 do you have?
Oh, like 15.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has no control when it's something he loves.
Yeah, like Terminator, the first Halloween, and Star Wars are the ones that I definitely collect overboard.
That's something to brag about for him, is that he has multiple versions of 3 of different movies. Not one movie that he's obsessed with. Different movies. He has like 9 or 10 movies that he's obsessed with, that he has multiple versions of all of those movies. He seriously bought like 5 copies of Last Jedi.
Let's see. Target, Steelbook, regular, 4K, about 4 or 5 copies.
Yeah, exactly my point. And you bought 2 copies of Black Panther. Why?
Steelbook, 4K, and regular.
Why wouldn't you just buy the Steelbook?
Because the rest of my Marvel movies, I still have the Blu-ray 3, like the one that has a Blu-ray digital copy and DVD.
Yeah, the combo pack
to keep the
symmetry.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Steelbooks that you're adding in?
That's a new collection now.
Oh my gosh,
that's
my point exactly.
Hey, I have problems. That's very well established. So either way,
Unfound Door problem.
As far as that goes, so with the new Stephen King book just dropping, and I will go ahead and pull it up on the slides here, is The Outsider. So yeah, I found that on Audible, and I was like, okay, I'm buying this, and I bought it. So bought it. Listened to the whole thing already. I couldn't put it down. So as such, I got Peter midway through the book. I was just like, got really geeked out. I'm like, dude, Peter has to read this.
Yep.
So
no joke. He seriously texted me after we got off the air, like a day or two after we recorded last time. And he's like, okay, it's decided. You have to get The Outsider and we have to do an Unfound Door on this. Like, we have to. Like, no doubt about it. So whenever Tad gives me a recommendation like that, not just like, oh yeah, it's good. You know, yeah, you read it. Yeah, it's good. No, when it's we have to do an episode on this.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I know it's going to be good. I'm only partway. Actually, I don't even know how far through the book I am. I just throw the Audible on whenever I'm driving to work. So
yeah, the thing is I know you're not to the spot yet that like really made me just go, we need to do this. So like, because I'm gonna get a text. I know it. It's just one of those things where it's just like, like I don't care when it is. I don't care if it's middle of the morning, middle of the night, like whatever. I know a text is coming my direction. Yep. I mean, you know, you can't wake me up anyway. So
yeah, Tad's Tad sleeps like the dead.
Yeah, indeed. So no, I love this book though. I honestly think that it fits right in with 11/22/63 in terms of just this new golden age of Stephen King. I feel this fits right in. It's a great story. It's got great characters. And I just feel like honestly, this almost feels like it's cut straight from the classic King era. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that yet in terms of just like it just feels like something that would have come out in like the late 70s or early 80s, just in that golden era of King when like things like The Shining and The Stand and It were coming. It just feels like this comes right. It feels like this is cut from the same.
You know, one thing I'm really starting to notice with King is that when he starts a book off with not being out there.
And we're not going to talk spoilers, so don't worry too much if you're in, like about to read it or if you're midway through. Peter's
not even done yet.
Yeah, he's not. I'm not
giving anything away.
No, it's just general talk about how it fits into the King pantheon.
Yeah.
For Peter up to this point, and for me finishing the book.
So far, it screams of classic King. just everything from the characters, like Tad said, the setting in a random town in the Midwest. That
Yeah.
kind of threw me. Midwest, you know?
Yeah. But
I
he's
was
been
so-
doing
I was so
that
used to it.
recently.
Yeah.
Though. The Hodges one was in Ohio, wasn't it?
I don't think it ever officially says,
I
but I think we got the hint that it was Ohio.
Yeah. Mistake by the Lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That kind of thing. But it was either
And
Ohio or it was Detroit.
And also, where was the main town in 11/22/63?
Maine?
Was it? I thought he was down.
No, it was Maine.
No, I thought he was down further towards Texas because he like goes to Dallas and he goes a little bit further. I thought he was like in Oklahoma or
Nope.
something.
Maine, up to Derry, down to Florida, over to Texas, back to Maine.
No, the teacher though, because the teacher had a
Teacher lives in Lisbon Falls, Maine.
I thought the teacher was somewhere else because like the show.
Oh
they
no,
wrote-
no, the main, like where the majority of the book takes place is Jody, Texas.
Okay,
But the rabbit hole,
So it's in Texas then.
the
Okay.
rabbit hole is
Texas is
in
what I was-
Lisbon Falls.
It's what I was thinking. Is that in Texas? I was for some reason I was thinking it was maybe in another state. So either way, though,
No,
it feels like
it's-
recently King's been jumping around a little bit. He's not
Yeah.
as much like main exclusive.
Well, Doctor Sleep has no spoilers here. Has a huge part of it set in Colorado.
yeah,
so-
which is a fairly traditional
Shining.
King.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
Shining
Is,
sequel.
A Misery as well was in Colorado.
Misery was in Colorado. Well, that's based off of the Overlook Hotel. It's him coming down from the Overlook where he got the idea.
Yeah,
So
so it's just one of those. I feel like Colorado, and then obviously you have the Stand touches into Colorado. I feel like Colorado is like that,
Boulder. I mean, yeah, half of the stand is set in Boulder.
Yeah,
for crying out loud.
It feels like to me Colorado's right next to Maine in terms of King's places to write. But no, yeah, he's definitely been doing different locations than we're used to. But yeah, I just feel like it fits right in with like feels like classic King, and honestly, it's right in there with like, in my opinion, and I'd love to get your opinion when we do the Unfound Door and you finished it.
Yep.
It's like I just feel like it's right up there with like 11/22/63 with just like this is a great book, great characters, awesome.
Now, the question I had for you that I forgot to ask you this, so I might as well just ask you now. The Unfound Doors is a bonus episode, so it's not
Yeah.
going to interrupt anything roundtable
Nope.
or book club. That's why I wanted to
Yep.
double check.
Yep, no, those
Okay.
are just totally random. So, yeah, and then here's the other question. So here's the other thing about the Unfound Door
Mhm.
is starting this project. So it was with this, obviously taking King's newest book. I was originally starting in a non-chronological or in chronological fashion, but I think now I'm throwing that out the window because I honestly
Yeah.
feel like my moods can move me around, and I feel like if I'm able to follow my moods more, I feel like I can get this project done a hell of a lot quicker reading through everything. So I'm going to go out of order. I'll let you guys know in advance what's coming next and stuff, but I don't want to do the order things. I mean, I've got like 2 of them now that like don't have audiobooks, don't have at least one doesn't have an ebook, and the other one I'm not sure yet. Can't remember if it was Night Shift or because like Rage is one that obviously is tough to find, and then there was the next one. Even I was just like, man, there's nothing for this one either hardly.
Yeah.
So I was just like, whatever. And then this came out. I'm just like, great. I'm jumping on it like because I missed the last few new King books.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this one, and I'm glad I didn't. So we'll cover that one in the next episode, and then for me, next up after that is The Stand. I can't.
He admitted something to me. What was it, last night or the night before? That I'm really disappointed in you.
What?
I can't believe you went a year without reading this.
Yeah, so it is one I read every year, and generally speaking, I start to get the craving for it just about now, like somewhere in the April to
Always
to-
the summertime.
Yeah, it's always right as summer starting up, which is about when the book starts,
Mhm.
and maybe that has something to do with it. But last year I didn't because of the Unfound Door.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this will come down the road a little bit. I don't want to jump into it now,
Right.
because I was still doing chronological. So it's like the first time, probably at least since the show started, probably the first time in like 5 or 6 years. Last year was one of the first times, probably in this decade of the 2010s, that I haven't read The Stand. So yeah, I can't put it off.
Yep.
I'm like jonesing for it. The Outsider satiated me a little bit, but I'm going to jump into The Stand next. So the thing for you though, is it comes to you, is when you're done with The Outsider. Originally, you were going to sign on to do The Stand with me. I don't know if you still wanted to do that, or if like 2 in a row. I don't know if it's.
We'll have to see how long it takes me to finish The Outsider. I just looked at it. I'm only about 5 hours in, so there's about 14 hours
Yeah, it's
left
a long.
after that.
It's a long book.
So I don't know how long it's going to even take me to finish The Outsider. I've only been doing the drives to work because the headphone jack on my phone is broken.
Oh,
So,
gotta get you-
but
Got to get you some Bluetooth headphones.
they arrived today.
I use Bluetooth so much anymore that like I
No,
don't know.
so I used to do it where I had a set of headphones. I'd go on break or lunch or something like that. I'd throw my audiobook on. Also, I do it when I had a little bit more free time at home. I haven't had as nearly as much free time with the new job and everything like that. So I've been kind of neglecting my books for a while, so I'm going to start being a little bit better now that I got a new set of headphones coming.
Awesome. Yeah. So either way, Unfound Door next is going to be The Outsider, and then after that, we will be looking at. I'll be doing The Stand, whether Peter joins me or not. I just can't hold off any further on it. Holding it off for over a year now is a plenty.
You're doing The Unfound Door as a 2-parter, right? Because otherwise, you're going to be talking for 8 hours.
Yeah, I've already thought about that. I already figured it's probably going to be a multi-part episode. With how many parts, I'm not sure. So.
Do a live Unfound Door. All right, guys, we're going to take an hour break. We're going to go to lunch. We'll be back.
Yeah. There are some podcasts I listen to that do live shows, like in terms of like whatever. And what one guy I know that he does is he'll like just play music. So like he'll play like geeky songs or whatever. And it's one of those things I don't think that like generally speaking he'll like edit that out of like putting it up for a podcast or whatever, so it doesn't have a bunch of copyrighted music or whatever. But he'll just like play it to like, he's going to like, hit the head, or he's going to like grab a bite to eat or something. He used to do like, or he still does actually. He'll do these ones where he does an all day like a 17-hour podcast marathon with all the different kinds of shows he's involved with, and they raise they raise money for like a cancer thing. That's awesome. So yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's like one of those where you're just like, yeah, there's going to be times that he's got to step away from the mic, obviously.
Visit the little boy's room.
Yeah, indeed. So that is that. And then also I mentioned the website. So check out the website. That's finally launched. Glad to finally get that up off the ground, and apologize about the delay on that.
And one other thing also, we kind of covered this late in the last episode, so we wanted to recover it again just to be safe. This is going to be about our normal record time going forward. This is, I got off work about almost 2 hours ago, roughly. So it gave me time to get over here, get all set up with Tad and everything like that. So look at that for our regular time. We are still in talks for setting up like international, helping out, doing a show at a different time, so we get more international listeners possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe on like a Friday or something like that. But Saturday or Sunday about this time is going to be our regular show time for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Just wanted to cover that again because, like I said,
we spaced it last time
until
the very end, and I was just like
after our closing stuff.
Yeah, basically. Like we had already covered like the closing, the outro stuff, and there's part of me that was just like, well, I know that some people like me. Again, I'm not just like projecting onto you guys, but I know I'm this way. Where like at the end of a show, if I know what their outro is gonna be, I just skip it. And so don't blame if you guys do the same thing. So I was just like, oh shit, dude, we're like throwing this on people like probably after they've already checked out. So
that's one of the reasons why we definitely wanted to cover it again
up front. Yeah.
So and there's also going to be social media posts tonight about that, saying that look for our regular showtime Saturdays, Sundays, and we're also looking at what's the best time for an international. Like if we have listeners out there from different countries around the world, different time zones that want to listen and join in, let us know. I know
the best time.
Yeah, I know that Chris down there in Outworld still chimes in a couple times every few episodes there when he can. But
he has to turn his clock the other way so we can read it, though.
No, he turns it upside down.
Well, he's got to turn it around for us to read it. It's all upside down there. Oh man, yeah. So that's check the website. I don't know necessarily. I've been looking into some different things we can do for like announcements on the website as well. But I haven't. I guess that's the other thing too. Let me know like how much you guys would be checking the website versus like social media, because we want to make sure that like we're communicating to you guys in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Because I know there's just some people that aren't on social media. Mm-hmm. So if people that are in that realm, let me know, like, do you check the website as well? Because I could put announcements up there when we have them. I mean, there's even been times that we've had to do like emergency announcements. I'll just like cut a 5-minute episode to tell what it is and post it, because I know we're hitting every listener. I mean, we haven't done that in a while, but like, because I just know there are people like we'll announce something to show and we'll get emails going, oh, I didn't know that, and I'm like, okay, I guess not everyone's on social media, which is totally fine. So and then the other thing, Peter teased this last time.
Oh yeah,
and I held off from saying anything
because you're superstitious
or a little stitious, whatever.
Yeah.
No, not really superstitious. Just like one of those, like, didn't want to say anything until something was a little bit more like final, I guess, in some ways. So yeah, me and a friend
mutual friend
with me and Peter. We both worked with him. He works at a different job now. So he and I started on a project to, first we were going to do a podcast, which I still think we're going to do, but it's in a different paradigm now.
Yeah.
But we also are decided that we wanted to try to make some movies. And so we started with a short that I helped. I mean, I guess we co-created it, but I mostly wrote it, and then he directed it. And last weekend we shot the first. We shot about half of it. So I'm sunburnt. Had a lot of fun and stuff, but it's all like we're gonna film another half of it probably early August. So it's probably a ways down the road. But I at least wanted to throw it out there to everyone to let you know. Like, I don't know.
Ted's making a movie.
That's what I'm doing. It's a short movie to start. We'll look at like what we could do about feature length later, but short's stressful enough to start with. But, so we're I guess as I get closer and get stuff built in terms of like websites and start a podcast fully with him, I think we're still going to do like a thing where we talk about movies and stuff. We're also going to mix in stuff talking about our own stuff, like I want to record with him and kind of just synopsize what kind of happened last weekend and just kind of like whatever. We're kind of learning as we go type thing. But so it'll be kind of a mixed bag podcast, but also some of the stuff I've been talking for ages about, things like going through like the AFI top 100 movies of all time. And he's a younger guy, and there's a lot of movies he hasn't seen. For instance, I just introduced him to like the Alien franchise last year.
You guys stopped by and saw me after you guys recorded. I handed him Starship Troopers. He had never seen Starship Troopers.
Yeah, there's a lot he hasn't seen, so I think it'd be a fun thing to like watch movies as well as maybe talk about some of what we're doing. So that'll be launching at some point in the near future. And I'm not gonna like overly hound, like, I don't know. I listen to some podcasts where people just do nothing but plug other things constantly.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that, but I at least want to make everyone aware of it. And as we get closer and have something to point you towards, to if you wanted to look into that kind of stuff, I'll give you those links once they exist.
Yeah, but speaking on behalf of the fans, Ted, we're fans of you. We want to see it.
I'm excited for it.
I can't wait to see it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I know a little bit more about it since I know Tad and the guy he's working with, Caden. Yeah, Caden. I didn't know if you wanted me to say his name or not. I don't know why I was like, for a second there, I was like, should I say his name on the air or not? I mean, it's Caden. And
here's his last name. Here's his social security number. Here's his address.
Mother's maiden name,
blood type,
the street he grew up on. What are the other common security questions? First pet's name. But yeah, so him and Caden, great guys. We go to see movies all the time. In fact, we went and saw Solo a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
together, just the three of us and everything. It was a great time. Great guys. I'm a fan. I can't wait. I know a little bit more about the film than what we're letting on here because
but still not a lot.
Not a ton. I haven't been a part of it. This is something that Tad's doing with Caden, and I'm really excited to see it. So
yeah,
on behalf of our fans here at Dark Tower Palaver, man, kudos.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to finish it up and get into the stressfulness of like editing and everything else. But I know it'll be fun. I can't wait for you to see it. I was even have you read the script originally, but Caden is all no. He's like, he should be someone that when we screen it and stuff, like he could be someone that doesn't know a lot about it. And I was like, oh, all right, well that's not my first inclination, but sure, I could see it. Use Peter as a guinea pig.
Why not? What else am I here for? I mean, that's how this whole show started.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, hey, Peter, read this series.
Okay.
And then here we are, how many years later, and we're doing a podcast about it.
We are in our
18th year. We were either senior year or the year immediately after graduation when I put you on this series.
Junior year.
Was it?
Absolutely.
No, I thought it was closer to the publication of the seventh book.
Nope, because you started me on this path even before I read Gunslinger.
Oh yeah, no.
You started me with Salem's Lot,
The
Stand, and then like 2 or 3 others, and then you're like, here, read this one. It's different.
Which is about around senior year, probably about this time of the year. Even
the groundwork was laid.
Yeah, it's true.
You started us down that path long before we found the beam.
Yeah, indeed. But
so basically, what our friendship was is that first 2 books where I was wandering around in the world of King that Tad introduced me to. He's the man in black. I'm the gunslinger, obviously, in this scenario. Is, he read my fortune and saw that I would be obsessed with this, and my tarot cards and everything. Saw that I would be obsessed with it. But I didn't get on the path of the beam until senior year. You're right about that. But you started me on the journey to the beam, to the tower, long before that.
One thing I thought about recently, I was thinking about, mostly because of that Eddie joke, is like, honestly, if you would have asked me when I was putting you into the series, I never would have guessed you liking Eddie.
Really?
Yeah, just I think like maybe it's like the fact that he was an addict or something, and you would just be like maybe put off of that.
I was a little bit of a goody when Tad first met me, but he's corrupted me, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh, maybe he'll take on to Roland or whatever. Eddie would have been like one of my last guesses, so it's just interesting to look back now and be like, obviously your favorite character, and just I wouldn't have guessed it.
Which is really, really funny, because if you look at you're right. You look at majority of my my fandoms, and it's the right,
The straight
it's good.
lace.
It's the straight.
Although
lace
you can't
that-
call Roland that though. I guess that's the thing with the
No,
series is you don't really
exactly.
have that character.
Well, we discussed that when the movie was coming out with like all these people that wanted a straight adaptation of Gunslinger, and it's like, how do you have the hero slaughter a village and come out looking good on the other side? That's the question there.
Yeah.
The only way, and I still maintain this, the only way they could have done it is if they had made it to where the entire town was dead and those were monsters.
Like zombies, yeah.
Right.
Like you would have really had to play up a whole zombie effect.
And that would just be tacky, in my opinion, with the Dark Tower. That's not Dark Tower. But yeah, so Roland intrigued me through the entire series, and I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I mean, my first three, because it's a tie for second place. It's Jake and Oi.
Yeah.
Because go together. They belong together.
Like Han and Chewie.
Yes. Except Chewie's way better than Han. Let's make that perfectly clear here. Chewie is the man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's debatable. That's why there's a Solo movie and there'll never be a Chewie movie.
You watch your mouth.
Okay, so next up we have a new thing here.
Hat watch.
Roland Hat Watch.
I can't give an update. I stopped reading.
We have some people on social media though that have,
Do we?
that have hit us up. Yeah. So the first one was from Bill on Twitter, and he said Wizard and Glass has a hat alarm going off. Susan D notices the flat top hat. So obviously going back to the flashbacks, yeah, and even what we're going to get into here with the comics, Roland does indeed have a hat when he's younger. Doesn't he in this? In the comic, now that you think about it,
I don't think he does.
I've always pictured him with one in this though, like with him being younger. What about when they're getting up to the? I guess we'll get there when we get into like when we get into the reading this next bit of the comics. But
no hat.
Okay,
no hat.
But in the book though, in the novel, it sounds like he has a hat.
He does have a hat. That's true. But to be fair, what was this guy's name?
This is Bill.
Bill. I wanted to say William, but I was wrong. Bill. To be fair, Bill, talking about old Roland, not young Roland.
No,
but,
yeah, but it is a good distinction to make. That
it is a good distinction to make.
Yeah,
but that's one for hat.
Yeah. Now, we have Roland Hat Watch number 2 from Jack, also on Twitter.
All right, Jack.
And he says, just listen to your latest roundtable. It was very well. Listening to the Wastelands, and it mentions Roland's hat while on the bridge to Lud. It was like glimpsing a rare Pokemon. So
that's ahead of me.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that I made it to Wastelands before I stopped? Yeah, I'm in Wasteland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm already to the part where Jake's woohoo.
Oh,
he's off his rocka.
Yeah.
Actually, right where I stopped.
So I interrupted you. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right where I stopped is.
I guess it'll be a little bit until you finish this book to figure out whether it was worth the interruption.
Would you stop interrupting me?
Well, I'm just saying. I interrupted you in the middle, right in the middle of book 3.
You did,
but you'll have to wait another 14 hours of listening before you decide was it worth it for Ted to interrupt me or not.
It's true.
We'll have to mention that on the Unfound Door episode.
It's already worth it. I'll tell you that right now. I thoroughly enjoy the outside.
So you got Jake losing his mind?
Where the confrontation with his parents after he went missing for the day.
Oh, okay.
That first day when he went and saw the Rose, Calvin Tower, the books, and everything like that.
Yeah.
The confrontation with his dad is literally where I stopped.
Oh, okay.
I was at work when you text me.
Okay.
I had listened to Wastelands going to work.
Yeah.
I literally downloaded The Outsider at work.
Dude, I did too.
And listened to it on the way
downloaded it on my phone stuff because usually like Audible wants you to like be on Wi-Fi or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I was just like, override, download this now. I want to listen to it.
The nice thing about my new job is they provide free. Oh
yeah, ours did too until someone watched some stuff that shouldn't be watched at work.
We're not going to talk about that. I know who you're talking about, and we're not going to talk about that because that's gross.
Yeah, that's not
gross.
Definitely not good.
It's not the good kind, guys. Trust me. If you have any kind of inclination of what we're talking about, it wasn't the good stuff.
No good. Okay.
No bueno.
So then Jack also finishes up by saying, also, my tattoo suggestion is below. Hope you like it. And this is what he attached.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, with your reaction, go ahead and describe what we're seeing here for the people.
Plate of lobster. And it says, "Did a chick dumb a chum?" Did a chick? Sorry.
Oh man, I love it. That's the best part. Is like
you have an entire fan base trolling me now.
Yeah, it's I mean, the thing is, there might be some innocence there. I don't know if the person actually was trying to troll you, but of course, the first thing I think to myself is, "Oh, Peter's gonna love this."
I hate the lobstrosity so much. I need to try lobster.
You never even eaten lobster.
I've never even had lobster.
Well, you got to eat them, or they'll eat you and everyone you love.
That's true. That's a Simpsons reference too.
Yeah, Troy McClure, man.
That's Lisa Goes Veggie, right?
Yeah, the vegetarian episode, indeed. So let me get ahead and move. Okay,
Man, we are all over the place this episode, aren't we? We talked about Star Wars, Terminator, Simpsons, Dark Tower, The Outsider, non-Stephen King. I mean, we're everywhere today, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know. We've kept it mostly Dark Tower lined, at least, like a little bit of tangents here and there, but
Isn't that our speciality?
I guess so. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into the comics.
That should be
chapter 3.
That should be my tattoo. Just put tangent on my arm.
Oh man, that'd definitely be a dark
Oh, dude, that should be our first shirt.
tangent.
Tangent galore or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something else. Has there been any updates on that?
Ultimately, I think we need to come up with some ideas is the main thing. I'm probably going to be getting in touch with the guy next week to follow up with different stuff, but I think the ultimate thing is going to be coming up with some designs that we want to put out there. So please, everyone, let us know on social media or email in terms of t-shirt stuff. Let us know what you'd be interested in. I guess if you have any interest at all, what interest you'd have in some Dark Tower Palaver shirts.
I still maintain the best one would be just Dark Tower Palaver on the front, like a logo or something that we just have designed. And then on the back have either hashtag Tad is terrible or hashtag Tad is the worst. Just one of the two. Just let it be interchangeable.
What about Tad is right?
Or hashtag Flag is the bad guy. There we go.
Oh man, maybe I'll get that Eddie line one designed for a t-shirt for you. I'd buy you one for Christmas too.
I know you would, Tad. You're a monster.
Oh man. Okay, so chapter 3 for the Gunslinger Born.
We have a meeting.
Yeah, we do. So where we ended off with the Roland and Susan meeting on the road. And we basically start off right where we picked up, as comic books tend to do. And some of this stuff is ripped straight from the book. Did you have any thoughts on any of this? Any of the stuff that we have here in this first little bit with Roland and Susan? My biggest thing was it felt like a lot of great references to the book. A lot of stuff ripped straight from the book, which to me is good because it's the best of what we have. Is in my opinion is what King wrote. So
it's been a while since I've read book 4. Help me out. Does she really threaten him with a knife?
I don't remember that actually.
I don't either.
Yeah,
that was my first note. Was knife?
And how about the metal in her eyes there in the next picture in the next frame?
That one?
Yeah.
She's.
Yeah. No, I don't recall her having a knife in the book. But I could very well
straight up crazy eyes, man.
Yeah. No, it's definitely. I thought that was a cool thing for sure. But yeah, they got like the whole conversation. He's given the fake names. We're familiar with it from the books. Now, doesn't she tell him that Pat died in because in the comics here in the last issue we
see it at the previous town.
Yeah, at the previous town, someone tells him. So he knows at this point in this conversation, he already knows that he's dead. Whereas in the novel, I believe that he finds it out.
He finds it out from her right here.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a change, but nothing too crazy. We got the Sitco station. So the oil patch, to talk about the machines and refinery, alchemy. A lot of it again feels like it's straight from the book. Great animations too. Like
I loved the hourglass, like the spyglass that he has. When he's looking at that he says it's refinery, not alchemy.
Yeah. And I just love like the way this is animated, even with a lot of the darkness used and stuff. I feel like it's fairly well, it's animated fairly well to give like the darkness and stuff. You're gonna a lot of these are basically like shadowed figures and stuff. Gives you a good indication that it's night. I don't know. I thought it was great artwork for sure. And then we get the kiss, and then she gives him the request. We meet for the first time.
Yep.
So they got that. Now Farson, jumping over to Farson. I don't recall this head game, as it were.
Farson's never shown in the Wizard and Glass.
Don't we have him meeting some of his guys?
Nope, he has Farson's lieutenants meeting them, Santiago or something like that. But you don't see Farson at all, ever in book 4.
Interesting.
Mentioned a ton,
Yeah.
but you never meet Farson. This is the first time he ever makes an appearance.
Okay. So yeah, he's got this cool red mask going. Definitely shows he's a trustworthy character.
As he beheads someone.
The person's already beheaded. He's just desecrating the body here.
Oh, that's so much better.
Oh, yeah, so he's playing a little bit of a baseball type game, and then splats it up on the thing right as the doorway appears, and the hero of the story enters here.
Martin is not the hero of the story. 22 feet. That's pretty impressive for hitting the head with a sword.
Yeah, indeed. This kind of goes along a little bit with what we saw in the movie, right? With him coming through a door kind of out of nowhere. And do we ever get that indication in the book that Flag's doing that?
We know that he can move really well. They never show it.
Because I remember after the movie we kind of talked about like, oh, so he basically has the ability to basically create doorways anywhere.
Well, yeah, because we talked about it because he gets what's his name, Quick out of Tull, and then somehow gets ahead of them, even though they rolled Blaine.
Oh, that's true. So we have a lot of hints.
We got a lot of hint at it.
Hints that he's probably has ways of moving, but definitely not like this where it's just a doorway on the side of a wall, just appearing type thing. I don't think we really see that in the books. So
no,
that's pretty cool. Let's see, and then we got where are we at here? I'm blanking on the name of Thorin's house. The
mayor's house.
Yeah, it's
Cambry.
No, but what's the name of the? She gives it to him when they were at their meeting earlier. I'm blanking on the formal name of what the mayor's mansion is called. Seafront.
Is it Seafront?
Is it? It's something like that. I thought, but are you looking at her request?
If you see me at Seafront.
Yeah, Seafront. Okay, so here we are. We have the three the gunslinger and two trainees that are
apprentices
showing up. No, he's a Roland apprentice.
We still haven't figured that out.
I'm pretty sure he is. I think because I feel like because he gets like the apprentice guns, right?
Yeah, the thing is that gets me every time with this is that Cuthbert and Elan go east. Not like Roland went only with guns and the other two only had nothing else.
Yeah.
He had his guns. They all three had guns. So
yeah.
It makes me think that.
But I don't feel like they master their trial by any means.
Again, I need to read book 4 again.
Yeah. Well, you're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
With another book in your way, but you're there.
Yeah, and possibly 2 books, and one of them is The Stand. That's a tall mountain to climb there, Tad.
That's true. I don't know. Now that you're doing The Outsider, you could always skip on The Stand and join me on the Unfound Door for another episode, whatever it might be, another book. I know you're a big fan of it.
Ooh.
Firestarter. I mean, there's a number of books there.
I love Firestarter. I need to reread Firestarter again. That was such a good book.
So you don't have to on The Stand, because if you're in the middle of a journey to the tower, I'd hate to divert you another 1,200 pages on top, because this is a long book, man. The Outsider is way longer than I thought it would be. I honestly thought I was getting close to the end, and I looked. I'm like, oh, I'm about the halfway point.
Wait, what?
I legitimately did, because it was just like one of those it wasn't necessarily like things were being resolved, but it kind of just felt like one of those where it was like the conclusion was just on the horizon. You ever get that in a book where you're just like
11/22/63 felt that way.
Yeah, but it was nowhere near.
No.
Yeah, it was one of those where I'm just like, and I think honestly it was just one of those just expecting, because the Hodges books were all like a specific length. And I think I was kind of expecting about that length. And I feel like this one's got a number of hours on top of that in terms of for the Audible. So I think I was just expecting those length of books. And so I was like, oh, so just in my mind, I was kind of ticking the time away. And I'm like, I got to be getting close to the end.
Yeah.
And then looked at the time. I was like, oh, damn, no, I'm not.
No, I am not.
Now, what do you think here as as the door opens here? You got Thorin, Avery, and Eldred Jonas. What do you think of the looks here in terms of animation? These are guys you pictured in your head for a number of years now, but it's the first time that we're seeing them in this. What do you think? I mean, for me, Jonas is perfect. I think we've talked about that in a previous episode. I feel like they animated him pretty much exactly how I expected him. But what do you think of the other two?
I did not think that guy looked like Thorin. Not what I pictured. I pictured a little bit older guy, she always describes him as having the creaky joints and everything.
Yeah,
it's not what I pictured that as.
So you're gonna laugh. I know this.
Okay,
but you know who I pictured? You got to remove some of the non-human elements. But Never-Ending Story, the old man with the basket.
Yep.
That's honestly what I pictured.
Yeah.
Like a guy similar to that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Without being like a bat guy or whatever the heck
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
But like honestly, like very close to that is what I always pictured Thorin.
And he was always described as being like really tall, really lanky, really like long, like limbs.
Yeah.
Part of me always pictured like a less extreme version of Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, like really tall, really long arms and everything like that, and like knobbly knees, knobbly elbows.
Yeah.
You know, no meat on the guy at all. I didn't picture this bank teller that they drew here. Is what
Yeah,
what I think of here. So
Yeah. Now Cody.
don't get me wrong,
Cody,
not bad.
Who's Cody talking is hilarious and very close to Thorin. I just want to clarify who he's talking about here because we did talk about a couple different characters very closely there for what he was picturing.
Yeah.
What about Avery though? While Cody's catches up to us on a little bit of delay here.
Avery's not bad. Didn't really picture him that much.
I didn't either actually.
No.
I was about to say he's one of those characters I never pictured whatsoever. Like it was always just like, oh, cool, Avery. I don't know why I do that, but I do. There's just times I don't even like flesh a character out in my head, and that was definitely one. Avery is one of those that I didn't. Okay, the guy from Neverending Story. That's what Cody was talking about.
Yep.
Very close to. I'll have to throw that on the show notes just so everyone, if you haven't seen it. I mean, first of all, you need to see it. It's at least for me growing up on it, it's a great one. But,
It's also one of the only movies I've ever heard Tad admit that he was scared of something in it.
oh yeah, when I was a kid, dude, that freaking wolf thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And to this day, I watch it and I get chills, or it's just like
Oh, those red
like
eyes.
childhood fears. I think they're like green eyes.
Is it green?
It's even more.
I always think it's
terrifying.
red, but I think you're right. I think it is green.
Yeah. Like me and my brother, when we were like really young, like we used to have it timed out to where the like just about when he's about to show up, we'd like quote walk upstairs to go look for snacks.
Oh, I need to go upstairs and look for some snacks.
And
You
we
want to come with me?
We'd always come back right when the scene was over. But yeah, and it's one of those like now I just get chills because it's not that it's that scary to me now as an adult, but it's like that remembered childhood fear
You
that
know-
like gets you.
You know that remember childhood fear that gets me?
What?
Dirt. Walking on dirt out in the desert or anything like that?
Tremors.
Every fucking time, dude. I swear to God. Not so much when I'm in the city, but you get me out in the desert, I start watching for the freaking Bugs Bunny thing coming at me. Scares the piss out of me every time. And then I've rewatched Tremors over the last few years. And not nearly as terrifying.
No.
But still, like, just the fact that there might be something down there. Just, gugh.
Yeah.
Again, back to the beast that I can't see.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, speaking of which, real fast. I have to ask a serious question, Tad.
Creep show. Yes. Watch
No. I was walking into work on Wednesday. It was a full moon.
it. Naturally.
Okay, now naturally, I'm walking into work way early. Well, during the week, I work at 6 a.m. Right? So their sun is not up, but it's light. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, what is that called? Like pre-dawn.
Isn't it dusk?
The dusk was at night.
Or yeah.
Like pre-dawn, kind of.
Yeah. Dawn.
Like
yeah.
it's light, but the sun's not up. I
Yeah.
noticed something when I looked up when I was walking in.
What?
I could see the full moon. So my question is, does a werewolf stop being a werewolf at sun up? Or is it just when there's light? Because I got picturing, I was walking in by myself, of course, and I scared myself walking in going, there's nowhere to go. I'm walking across this open courtyard. There is nothing to run. There's nothing to throw. I have no defensive weapons here. I have nothing to defend myself from a beast that comes at me right now. I would just have to make a beeline for the building and hope that I could scan my badge and get in before he gets me.
Scan your badge.
Which, of course, is straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah, it is. And then the badge wouldn't scan.
And then I'm plastered against the door. And
Yeah.
blood splatters everywhere, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly what my mind went. So my question for you, being the horror film buff that you are, when does a werewolf stop being a werewolf?
I'm trying to picture American Werewolf in London.
See, they
trying
always
to remember
just,
if- I'm
they
trying
always
to
just
remember
show
if-
the guy waking up in the morning.
I'm
But
try-
when does a werewolf stop being a werewolf?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember like with the scene when he's in the city, if it's how dark it is at that time. But it's a good question. I feel like what it comes down to, it comes down to what does the story need? What does the story need? And in that case, the story needs a werewolf to exist for a little bit longer
And you want me to die?
to get you plastered on that door.
No.
Maybe it transforms right as the door gets you. You know.
And then as he's eating me, transfers back into a man. What have I done?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's the best. I think Chris from Australia joined us a little bit ago.
Hey, Chris.
And he said, we all watched Neverending Story with the kids when they were quite young. Scared the hell out of them. Yeah, it did me too. That one got me quite a bit.
Sorry, I got us off on a tangent there about werewolves.
Yeah. I mean, werewolves, I guess those are definitely in the tower somewhere. Right?
They are, actually, in the talisman.
As I was saying, I mean, I think like the wolves of the call, I think a lot of us are expecting that, but then as it progressed, obviously it turned out to not be werewolves.
Yeah,
but
they have werewolves covered in
they definitely exist in the King universe.
the talisman. And what the hell is the sequel called?
Black House.
Black House. They actually do cover that there is a species of men that are species in Midworld that is basically werewolves. So
yeah. Let's see. Back to the comic.
Yeah. Sorry.
So we have
this one gets me.
Renfrew.
The sister, Coral.
Yeah.
That one gets me where, man, that is not what I pictured.
No.
Not anywhere close.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know what I pictured with her. Just kind of like I pictured something, but I can't even place it. Like I can't tell you like an actress. I can't tell you there's just someone I had in mind. It probably was like a substitute teacher I had in like 3rd grade or something, and I just can't recall it. Because don't they tell you you can't really like make up a face in your mind? Like if you see someone in a dream, you've seen that face before at some point in your life.
Yeah, you're not able to dream about complete strangers.
Yeah, so like I don't know like who it is that I pictured for Coral, but it definitely is different than what we're seeing here in the comics. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, Cody's right. Cycle of the Werewolf absolutely is a King story.
Okay.
And Dark Tower related, if I remember right.
Let's see. We got a bunch of chats all of a sudden here. Monster Games, Heil, Cody, Chris. Let's see right here and now. Wolf. I'm reading Black House right now. Okay. So yeah, no, we definitely have. So we definitely have some werewolves covered for Peter's benefit.
Yeah. Wolf.
Now, what about Mr. Renfrew here?
Yeah.
Is that what you pictured?
Pretty spot on for him.
Yeah.
Gnarly, old, creepy looking.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And let's see. Then we have the dance. Roland kind of giving the whole slap to Susan.
Ooh, I like that picture.
Which one? You got to explain it too, because we're not.
Before the dance, it's the one where it's kind of like they show like Roland is obviously obsessed, watching her.
Oh, for when they catch each other's gaze.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like looking over her shoulder. Susan is.
Yeah, I think we talked about Susan in a previous episode, but I feel like that's pretty much what I pictured with her when it comes to her.
Yeah, and then Jonas noticing,
yeah,
and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, the dance that's more what I pictured for Coral. Like I didn't recognize who was that first one.
I don't know, maybe it's someone else because I think that's Coral, the one you were looking at here.
Yeah, that's more what I pictured. I think I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, I think that's closer to my picture. I think I pictured like curlier hair, maybe curly gray hair, just kind of like have that aged look. But yeah, not. I mean, just to me, just a nondescript overall. Then what about the mayor's wife?
Oh, spot on. Maybe a little less chubby than I pictured.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we got that. We got the dance. We got Roland just kind of giving that horrible line to Susan. And then we get over to
our favorite part of this comic.
I'd say, honestly, it ranks right up there with Blaine in terms of like all-time great moments of the series.
Yeah.
I feel like when we asked that, did we ask that on my post?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's when we have to add.
That's definitely one we have to add is what's your great. Well, you asked one what incites the most emotional response.
But I think it's another question to say something like what's like your top 3 favorite moments or maybe top 5 favorite moments of the series, just and why type thing, because I feel like we've kind of gone through that over the years with different people. But I feel like that's a good question. I feel like when we did ask that, I feel like this is one that came up quite a bit. The Traveler's Rest, Blaine the Mono, and then I mean there's a few others that kind of worked their way in, but those two seem to be like the ones that were like almost everyone's saying these. Like these are ones that
it's true.
Yeah, these are ones that are up there. So,
I know this is one of your favorite parts.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you're such a fan of Cuthbert too.
Yeah, indeed. So, what about the big coffin hunters? Have we seen them in the course of the comics yet? These other ones here.
They're introduced early on. Actually, it's Jonas. That's when Jonas deputizes them.
Okay.
Shows he tosses them the badge and everything.
Yeah.
What's his name?
So this
DePape kills a guy. Remember?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. So who is this first one that we're seeing here? Is this?
This isn't DePape. This is
Let's see. Does it say who he? Yeah, Roy DePape and Clay Reynolds.
This is Roy DePape, and then Clay. Yeah, Clay has. Wait, is this Clay or is this Roy? I always forget. We'll find out later.
It's Clay Reynolds is the one that starts the whole mess. Because remember, Eldred makes him take his glasses off before he punches him.
I just want to make sure I got the name right.
In this and in the novel, he does the same thing. So
Roy, take off your spectacles.
Oh.
Roy is the one with spectacles. That's
okay. Now, Roy is basically almost exactly what I pictured him. They did a really good job. Actually, not exact. So I think I've told you this before, but you know who I picture him as?
Who?
The guy from Tombstone. Oh, those men you killed are my friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to talk to you.
The one that was a big fan of the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the kind of like the nerdy.
He's like the sheriff's deputy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that ends up deputizing all the cowboys in Tombstone. So, yeah, like that's who I always pictured for Roy DePape. We have
really
Sheemy.
close, actually.
Yeah, we have Sheemy, who we've seen before, I believe.
You see him in passing earlier when they introduced these guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they get introduced at the Travelers, right?
Yeah. So we got him spilling the camel piss on Roy's boots, and then having him lick it off. Now there is a little bit of a change here as we go, but in the next little bit. But of course, everyone's favorite, Cuthbert, rolls up, and
Eddie from Another Life.
So you can take your solace of that. That I'm an Eddie fan insofar as we were talking about Cuthbert. Tells him no. Definitely has probably one of the more iconic looks for him is this frame where he's saying makes the mind quail.
I can't go without saying this line. I love this line. I simply cannot allow that. Nope. I would if I could, but I can't.
And the next frame to me is like that's like now what I have in my head for him. Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has the rook skull on and everything. So
I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
It's clear in the previous frame. Then
like the full shot of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You get the full shot of it. Then you kind of have the whole breaking the finger and the standoff as it escalates to multiple people here. Now, the only thing they changed here is Roland because Eldred does sweep the street to make sure that Roland doesn't get the jump on him. And then didn't King write it like to where it's not exactly chronological, and so you kind of get how Roland got around being caught in that sweep, like from a different perspective.
Yeah,
he like ducks down an alley or something to where
he's
like when
coming out of an alley and he stops just before he exits the shadow because he sees Jonas looking around. He's like, "Why is he looking around?"
Yeah,
like that. Who's he looking for?
Yeah,
is he looking for me? And then I think he hears Cuthbert's voice and realizes what's going on.
Yeah,
so he stays in the shadows, and then finally Jonas goes in, so he follows him.
Yeah, so with this you got let's see, so he's got the thing on Roy, and then Clay gets behind Cuthbert, and then
Alan,
I almost called him Arthur.
No, Alan.
Yeah. Alan gets behind him, Eldred Jonas gets behind him, and then of course to round it out here we get Roland getting behind Eldred Jonas with a knife and threatening to stab him in the heart.
Cody's right. Roland hides behind the wooden animals in the front of the store.
Yeah. Which are like ones we would later hear him talking about with like the beam, right? Yeah. So like the beam animals. So that he gets up behind him. And I would just have to say like I think how do you feel they did with this scene overall? Like 'cause I feel like in the books it's about as tense as it gets in this series. Like do you feel they did it well here?
I feel it went a little bit rushed. It didn't feel like there was enough
which is a thing for comic books. You can't really drag a moment out too much. I mean, chances are you probably have somewhere in the 15 to 20 page realm to print your stories. So.
Right. So it felt just a little bit rushed, but that makes sense, looking at, like you said, the different media between book and comic book.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I feel that it was 95% right. The only thing I miss is if a land's going to cut someone's throat, he needs to put his knife around their throat.
Yeah.
Not be pointing it at the back of their head.
Yeah. Unless you just go like Goodfellas and ice pick to the back of the head.
Yeah, but I mean, he specifically says, "I'll cut your throat." I mean,
yeah,
put the knife around his throat, for crying out loud. Because the big thing is that he pulled his head back and put the knife there while he's still trying to hold his gun on Cuthbert. And then he is it Jonas that says it? I'll shoot you, you'll cut his throat, and we'll see if his bullet hits or something like that, hits your friend.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But I just wish he would have put his knife around his throat. I think it would have been a little bit more, especially this last shot here, with all of them lined up.
Yeah. That's exactly
would have
what
been,
I was looking at.
It would have been a lot nicer to see a knife around his throat right there.
Do you feel this is staged how you pictured it?
Except for the knife, yes. Exactly. Okay. Just one right after the other, which is always one of the most comical things about it, is when it gets down to it, is that literally it's Cuthbert holding a slingshot on Roy, who then has a gun pointed at the back of his head by Reynolds, who then has a knife around his throat from Alan, who then has a gun pointed at his head from Jonas, who then has a knife in his back from Roland. Seriously, it's almost something on his Three Stooges, it kind of seems like.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and then Chris is saying in the chat, the standoff is one of the best parts of Wizard and Glass book for me. Yeah, and Cody agrees, and I think it is like it's definitely up there. I mean, in my opinion, is one that loves this book above all when it comes to the novels. I'd say that I could definitely say this definitely stands out. I mean, like the whole thing with Athenny in Eyebolt Canyon is pretty cool. There's a lot of cool moments in it, but overall, I feel like the book's more about character than it is some of these big moments. So some of the big moments tend to stand out a little bit. I mean, you're talking about over the course of however long this takes, the love story of Roland and Susan versus like big moment after big moment, you know?
Exactly. So it's the small developments and the small showing of character, especially for someone like Cuthbert here or Alan, where we've had almost nothing for them.
Yeah.
Compared to, where we're at in Wizard and Glass in the books part. For Eddie, Susanna, Jake, Roland, any of the other, even the Man in Black at this point, we would have had Tull, where he comes back and rescues Quick. We have him all through book 1 and everything like that with there and everything, and then all of the voice stuff that we hear from him and almost killing Jake again in book 2.
Yeah,
and then being in Roland's mind and everything like that. To see these moments for these characters that have been building up for 4 books, 3.5 books, and then. I need your guys' help. You and the audience. Isn't Cuthbert the one that tells Jonas no? I don't remember Alan being the one to say no.
Is it him or is it I guess it is because he has the gun on him. I don't recall off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've read it. The delay I've had between the last Dark Tower read has been somewhat extended because of this doing this project here, but I feel like with the Unfound Door project, I feel like that's going to exclude the Dark Tower series, so I could probably still add it in somewhere and read it fairly, because I think I need to go through and do a reread again, but I don't recall,
because I'm pretty sure if I remember right, what it is the no, we're affiliate boys and everything like that comes from Cuthbert when Reynolds puts his gun to his head, which gives Alan time to get behind him.
I feel like it does, because I feel like it just feels more like Cuthbert to say that.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like his character more to say that. But that's not necessarily saying that I remember the scene. I'm just saying with the way the characters are developed for us. I feel like Cuthbert would be more the one to say that, in the same way that I feel like Eddie would say it more than Jake if it were them in this situation. I mean, I could see Jake doing a little bit maybe in his youth, but like remove that element of the youth versus Eddie not having the youth and make Eddie as young. I feel like Eddie would say it probably as quickly as anyone. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just working it backwards that way, I would say I could probably get behind what you're saying there. But mostly because I don't remember. Then Chris points out a great thing here too. Imagine if they had not saved Shimi, Roland may have never got to the tower in book 7.
They wouldn't have got out of trouble when they got to is it Algo Santo? I always mix them up. Algo Santo. Just the trail, the rail station there, because Shimi's the one that rescues them there with Walter Brannigan. Is that his name? I think that's his name. Ted. Ted.
Yeah,
Ted Brannigan.
Yeah,
I was going to say Walter Brannigan for some reason, but it's Ted, Shimi, and then the third guy, Dinky.
Yeah,
Dinky.
It's
been a long time for both of us, dude.
Yeah, it's been a bit. I mean, you're in the middle of a reread now, but Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. Like, I love how like
Ted Brodigan. Thank you.
I love how that does circle back around with Shimi.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really feel like the most consequential character.
Mm-mm.
I feel like there is things are getting a little bit more tense. Like they start using him a little bit, but like beyond that, like they use him as like a runner and stuff. But beyond that, I don't feel like he ever really has as big a place. So I'm really glad that King was able to circle back around and show us like the importance of this character later on, you know?
Yeah, and then the Cody and Chris just clarified in the chat. Yeah, Dinky Earnshaw.
Yeah.
Dinky Earnshaw, Ted Brodigan, and Shimi are the three that rescue them at the rail station and get them up to that cave.
Yeah.
Which even then, if it wasn't for Shimi and all the other breakers that, you know, those three there and then the other breakers stopping, they would have broke the beam and everyone would have died.
Yeah.
Including you and me.
Yeah, that's it's definitely a great way to think about when you think about this on one that's done rereads and stuff, is to be able to go back, you know, now and appreciate some of these characters more for what they later do or what importance they have later, you know. I mean,
yeah, it's also one of the other ones that's really interesting to think about, and I got thinking about this in Wastelands. Introduces Oi. I mean, think about how critical to the story Oi is.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of gets lost a little bit until you get to book 7, and then you remember, oh yeah, you know, as Jake goes, he's always the only one that stays with him.
Yeah.
And always the one that saves him from Mordred.
Yeah.
So
yeah, totally.
You think back to like Tull when Roland was ready to sacrifice Oi to Quick to cause a distraction to save Jake. You know, I mean, think about that. If Quick had been able to stab Oi and kill him.
Yeah.
You know,
he just rings him like a rag.
Why do you always bring that up when we talk about that scene?
That's like the most thing that's most defining of that scene. Ring him like a rag.
You're such a bad person. You know that?
Hey, I didn't write it.
No, but you relish in the fact that it brings me pain, and you bring it up.
Not as much pain as it brought Oi. And also, as we get into the realm of
oh no, come on, man.
Oh yeah, Monster Games threw the ultimate line there.
He said Olin in the chat. Oi's last word. Oh, that's
oh yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe that should be a t-shirt.
Oh no.
Hey, you'd be playing on the heartstrings of anyone that knows that reference it'd be like a flag to fly as a Dark Tower fan. Because only certain people would get it. Just look for people that are crying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. Look.
Or the ones that just walk up and punch you for wearing that shirt. You bastard.
And in the same vein of Oi having importance later, we also have Rhea, which plays an important role.
A very important role, you know?
Yeah. That's although in the books, I don't know if the comics fill it in, but in the books we never really get any resolution on her character.
No, we do not.
So yeah, it always felt like maybe she would show back up in some way, but I guess
I really kind of wanted to hope that she would go west and try to gets her revenge on Roland and Gilead, and then keeps going west to try and get the grapefruit back.
Yeah,
and she ends up with Farston's men, and I like to think that she died at Jericho Hill.
Of course you do. I know you would relish her death very much so.
Chris makes it perfectly clear that he freaking hates. He put that in italics. Rhea.
Yeah, it's she is quite the reprehensible character for sure. Then we have the sheriff getting everyone on the same page, quote unquote, you know, shaking hands and making peace type thing. And this is, I mean, we see the coffin tattoo, but then we do here at the close of this, we definitely get the idea, you know, we get it from the gunslingers that they have every intention of killing you. No, they have every intention of killing us. So I feel like it's setting the stage just like it does in the book to let us know that this isn't over. And
this is just that first card down.
Yeah, this is the first pawns moving in the game of chess.
Yeah,
this is,
what do they call it? Castles.
Castles. Yeah,
or whoever breaks cover first.
Yeah. Then we get the scene that we talked about, telling Roy to take off his glasses, and then he punches him, and then kind of tells him, you know, that like let's see. He says they acted like gunslingers. So, and I think Roland mentioned it in the previous scene that we were looking at there, that, you know, it's bad now because they know more about us than they did before. So they've kind of in some way revealed themselves in a way. And it's one of those things now, you've got the jump on them once, you'll never get it again.
Yep.
So that's the big thing. And then you kind of see the flip side of it is Reynolds is telling him, or that Eldridge Jonas is telling him, basically portraying the same thing, that we're not going to let these guys get on us again type thing. So
exactly.
Yeah, we kind of sped through that a little bit, but we did want to spend some time on emails. But no, I feel like with some of these, it'd be good to just kind of go through and hit some highlights. Some of the early ones we always knew would take longer because it's like the intro to the comics, talking about creators, talking about everything. But now it's more of a matter of how are they interpreting it. And I feel like as we go a little bit further, especially when we get outside of the realm of the books and get into like the Fall of Jericho Hill and stuff, we'll probably have a hell of a lot more to talk about. But some of the stuff that's just adapting the book straight across, there's a little bit less to talk about. So,
see you, Chris.
All right, Chris, taking off. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Chris. And great job on the map again.
Yeah.
Very well done. Definitely be looking to get my copy.
Did you
pretty
remember
soon.
to grab a picture this time?
Not in the slideshow. No.
Okay.
No. But we'll definitely. I mean, it's on the show.
You put it on the show notes.
It's on the show notes.
Oh, okay.
It is on the show notes. From
yeah,
last
we
time.
didn't mention that.
We just didn't have it on the slideshow last time because of me forgetting. So,
and the website wasn't up last time. So yeah, definitely go to darktowerpalaver.com and check out that map. It's so good.
Yeah, I got the map there. Plus, you have links to the website to read about on his blog, as well as the Etsy links to go and buy a copy, which is definitely something we highly recommend doing because it'd be a great thing to go up on any Dark Tower fans' wall.
Cody plans on framing his poster.
Yeah, no, they're.
I'm going to with mine.
Yeah, they're incredible. Definitely well done. Long days and pleasant nights, Chris. We're going to jump over to emails now. And we have, we're a little bit earlier into it than we usually get. So hopefully we can get a little bit more, but
yeah,
we want to get caught up. We're definitely a little bit behind. But we'll jump into it. Now, first up is, Josh from Louisiana. Now, this is actually one that came in a little bit later, but I jumped this one to the top just because you'll see why. I feel like it's one that may be a little bit more time sensitive, perhaps. So Josh from Louisiana has emailed us a few times before, and he emails us now. It says, "Hi, Podslingers." Hi.
Wait, real fast. I got to ask you. We're not going to do the jingle? I'm asking for the fans here.
Oh, I suppose we could now that we're into it here. I guess.
I mean, it's there. We might as well use it, right? There it is. God damn it. Hey, there's proof that I swear.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And I had to leave that on the tail end, too, because it's the best. Oh, man. So
that's back before our live days. That's what we just recorded in your old house and everything, and and posted it.
Yeah, indeed. Because that's why I'm because when we were recording like that, like we could say things like a little bit off the cuff, like oh man, we gotta remember make sure we talk about this later. A little bit less like live because there
was even a couple times where we're just like, yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah,
let's just hold on.
Yeah,
technical difficulties or something, and we just took a break. Hit the head or anything like that. That was one of those times where Ted's like, oh man, I can't get it to play, and I was like, here. All right, I did the little jingle, and then you're like, yeah, it's not gonna delete. God damn it.
No, that audio,
Cody,
that audio clip is from the very first time you did it.
Oh yeah, it is.
Because you did it just right off the cuff. I'm like, that's not getting deleted.
Oh yeah.
But there is one other time more recent that you did do it live because I couldn't get it to play.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Josh goes on and says, Joshua from Louisiana checking in with a bit of a different question.
Okay.
Says, my little sister, 13, loved the new It movie so much that she asked if she could borrow the book.
Oh.
And he says her whole life she's always stated that she hates reading. And he says that in all caps. So there's definitely no question there. So I'm jumping for joy that she wants to read Uncle Stevie. But there is that scene at the end. I don't think I could let her read that. So he says, but I want to bait the hook while she's interested. What Stephen King book should I give her? If I don't own it, I'll buy it. I want to spark her love of literature, and you guys are the Stephen King experts the only Stephen King experts that I know. And then he signs off, "Long days and pleasant nights, Joshua from Louisiana."
I see why you did this first, and I'm very glad that you did.
Yeah, because it came through right after our last episode. It was about 12 days ago. So but I wanted to jump this to the top because I'm like, with the rate that we're going, if she's interested, we want to get something. So what do you think? Anyone in the chat too?
I have 3 suggestions. Only 3.
Okay.
Cujo,
Okay.
Firestarter, and Carrie. A little bit easier to read, a little bit easier to understand.
But do you think Carrie? Do you think any of the content is a little bit?
I don't think Carrie's nearly as bad. I think what he's worried about here is
yeah.
a little bit more. You're thinking like the beginning scene.
Yeah.
I don't think that's nearly as bad. I think that's how old she is, 13. I think that's something that she would easily handle. The one that I would definitely suggest that's a lot tamer than any of those ones that we've talked about so far is Firestarter. You've read that one, haven't you?
Mm-mm.
Definitely start with Firestarter. That's definitely going to be my suggestion. Locking in, final answer, Firestarter.
Okay.
That's what I would say. It's a little bit shorter. It's definitely shorter than it for sure.
Yeah.
As for follow-up,
What do you think? Salem's Lot even.
I think the pacing may be a little bit slow for a 13-year-old. Not the tale of kids like we talked about with it before. Like one of the reasons why we really liked the movie was the bonding of the kids like that.
Yeah.
Firestarter, I think, would speak to her a little bit more because it's a tale of a dad and daughter. So I think that may strike a chord for her a little bit more.
Yeah.
I know it did for me, being a father and everything.
Yeah.
Salem's Lot, that was a perfect one to start me on when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I think she may be just a little bit too young for that. So I think the best ones would be some of those earlier, shorter King ones.
Yeah.
I really think Firestarter would be the best one. It's a girl with an ability. Her and her dad are on the run from a secret government agency that's trying to get her because of her ability.
Yeah.
Hint, it's in the title. If you couldn't figure it out, it's in the title. That one would
And see, I mean, Eye of the Dragon is one that King wrote for younger people, so I feel like that one would be a no-brainer. Of course, Randy Flagg being in there is a good help. You know, get the kids
bad
started.
guy started early. Yeah,
get the kids started on the best character right away. But yeah, see, I tend to float towards the heavier stuff, so I'm trying to think. Like, I think the other thing too is ultimately her better than anyone, because I feel like the scene we even were talking about it, like toward the end, that could be something that, you know, if you choose not to, then that's fine. But I feel like it's definitely something that is not going to necessarily be easy at any age necessarily. Yeah. It's always going to be kind of an awkward thing. But yeah, it's ultimately going to be you to know in terms of that. But I'm trying to think, even Misery?
Misery wouldn't be a bad one.
Misery's nice. It's on the shorter end and stuff. I mean, it's definitely brutal, but not like, I don't feel that there's necessarily, I don't think there's anything super inappropriate for a kid being in the realm of Stephen King, you know. I'd say definitely not The Shining as one that tried reading that one as my first novel around the same age. Didn't work out for me. I think it was just a little bit above my head.
See, that's what I'm worried about with Salem's Lot. Not nearly as complex as The Shining, but I think there's enough there that may keep her. It just depends. Like you said, Josh knows his sister better than us. But Cody says if she doesn't end up liking reading, try her on audiobooks. I don't like to read either, which is actually the way that I've started going more. I don't have time to pick up a book.
Yeah, that's my problem. It's mostly time. But yeah, you could even try that, because I mean, nowadays a lot of these audiobooks are so well done that like the performances and stuff are like are well enough that you can listen to them and it's just as entertaining as watching.
I'll say right now, Will Patton is a godsend when it comes to Steve.
Yeah.
He's the guy that did the Mr. Mercedes. He also did, what was the other one that you told me that he did that blew me away the other day?
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, Dr. Sleep.
I've completely and he's doing the new one too. He's doing The Outsider.
He does The Outsider, and yeah, he's a godsend for Stephen King. But even the guy that did 11/22/63 was so good.
Yeah, he did great.
And
so I'm looking at what about The Long Walk? I'm like looking down a list.
I haven't read that one. That's one of the ones I was going to read, and I never did.
Based on the premise, I feel like with it being younger people, maybe. I as one that hasn't read it, I'm not sure. I'm just kind of looking through the list here real quick. So you said Firestarter.
I really think
Cujo. Yeah. No, here's an interesting one. What about different seasons? Start with the short stories. Like that.
If she doesn't like reading as much, that's definitely something that you could start her on. Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption's in
which
there,
is
right?
That one's apt people. Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
I think The Body is in that one.
Yeah.
So that's got some of the big ones that have been done movies and stuff. So you definitely have that.
Monster Games likes that one.
Yeah. let's see. Pet Cemetery, probably not.
Definitely don't start with Pet Cemetery. If you can't handle it, you can't handle Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. I think Misery might be a good choice.
Man, you know, the big thing is here's what I would do, Josh, if I was you. The big thing is that you know your sister. You know her maturity level. That's the big thing I think here.
And interests
and interest as well. I think Tad was able to gauge me a little bit and get me into the Dark Tower. And you even warned me the first time I read it. Because I was out of high school. I was over 18 and everything like that. You still warned me about it.
Yeah.
And it got to that scene and I had to stop. Like, I had to stop reading. It was hard for me to get through that scene. So,
yeah.
I understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But you know your sister. If you want to start her on something else, King, and definitely, dude, I really think Firestarter's the way.
Yeah, I think that might. I mean, looking at all of them, I think that. Let's see. Carrie potentially. It's definitely in the realm of a little bit more shallow end. You're not talking 1,000-page book or anything. I feel like it's a quick and easy read too. I mean,
it's also very interesting the way they did it. The back and forth between what's happening right now in the disposition and what happened, weeks ago when the event happened.
Yeah.
But Cody makes a good point about Long Walk is that it's actually a bit brutal because it's a Richard Bachman.
Okay.
And he was apparently he was pretty brutal under that.
Now, the other thing with Carrie, too, is honestly, like, at 13, the kid's going to be in the age where, you're seeing bullying and stuff.
Right, exactly.
Not saying she's being bullied, but the bullying's around her in her life, one way or the other. So Carrie might be a good one even to have kind of like a message, I guess, to a point. I mean, obviously, it's not in a realistic way. I mean, this is obviously a different realm than, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things that's, like, to be mindful of, I guess. But, yeah, I'd probably say, like, that one, or what else did we say? Firestarter.
I think Firestarter. I think Firestarter is the way to go.
And different seasons, I think, might be if you want to look in the realm of short stories, different seasons would be a great one, I think. But yeah, I think that's some answers.
I just lost the chat.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's some ideas. I'm trying to. I was even looking at some of these newer ones to see if there's anything that jumps out at me. Let's see.
Monster Game says there's some adult scenes in The Long Walk. I think that's what he's saying.
Okay, yeah.
He says, he added The Long Walk.
Yeah. I think that might be some of the ones to start with. Maybe
no, you know what? Start her on the stand.
Yeah, that's got some brutal stuff in there too.
Yeah,
man.
it does.
That's definitely, and I'm also looking at length too, because I mean, like, I feel it's one of those things you don't want to go too crazy with giving kids.
Yeah, which is why you started me at the perfect length of the perfect story. Vampires, get the idea. Stephen King, read it, get your footing and everything like that. It was a perfect book for me, for Salem's Lot. Josh, honestly, if she's mature enough and really wants to dive in, man, Ted's right. Salem's Lot's not that bad of a read.
No, I don't think it is.
No, I mean for a kid, like a first one to start. That's where I started with King. That's where Tad started me on it, into the dark world of King, is Salem's Lot. So, it, like I said, just depends on how well how mature your sister is the big thing.
And interest level, I feel like
that's also something I keep reading. Yeah, interest level is a big thing. I mean,
what's she into?
If she's big into, if she hates vampires, I mean, steer away from Salem's Lot. But if she doesn't have an aversion to vampires, I'm starting to notice some of my nieces that are teenagers hate vampires, dude. It's, I think it's a thing. The paradigm shifted back the other way. My wife loved Twilight.
Yeah.
But now her nieces have shifted the other way, and they absolutely despise vampires. They want nothing to do with them.
Let's see. Cody also mentions, what about Insomnia?
That one's a bit long, and it's not anything like adult like it that we would have to worry about, but it is.
And see, that's the other thing, is like not just adult content in terms of like what's like I would say like the Shining is adult, not necessarily in that there's stuff that I wouldn't recommend a kid reading, but that I don't think that there's stuff in there that the kids is just not going to engage with.
Right, exactly.
That's my problem. Is I tried to jump into that one, and I'm just like, as I read it recently, and I think I mentioned it in the Unfound Door episodes, it's just like, this is so much about the adult. Like I resonate with it now as a dude that's like, you
in your 30s
Yeah,
and
like
everything.
Okay, putting myself in a position where maybe if I had a wife and kids, like, you know, the fear of like providing it, like there's all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like there's so much that you can attach to, but like, dude, me at like 12, like no, not at all. There's nothing that was.
You didn't understand even what a job really was at that point, what that all
not
entailed.
for reality,
No.
not the reality of it. So it's just one of those things that like so much of the themes of The Shining were so adult that like it kind of got past me to where it was just like I was just expecting like Kubrick's movie that I watched by that age. I was watching that all the time. So it's just like I just wanted just kind of a straightforward thing, and it's like so much of like the literary element of what's in The Shining for King was the stuff that really kind of put me off. So that'd be something to consider is when you're looking at some of these, not necessarily even just like, oh, there's something horrible in this, but also is it going to be something a kid can track with?
Yeah, and that's the thing with Insomnia is that takes it one step past The Shining, like you're talking about with adult themes. I mean, Insomnia is about a guy in his like 60s or 70s who's lost his wife and is by himself and has insomnia.
Yeah,
and starts seeing shit. I mean, like that dude, it's way past, you know, like even stuff for me to fully comprehend. You know, I can't think about a life without my wife right now. You know, that kind of thing. So it's even a little bit harder for me to track with that one. And I'll admit I'm not the smartest, sharpest tool in the shed, but you know,
yeah,
if for a 13-year-old girl, man, Josh, you know her. If you think she can handle it, I mean, I wouldn't say no. I mean, it may open up a door to a whole new world for her.
Yeah.
But if you want to try something a little less,
and remember, because that's the thing that like that kind of missed me a little bit is I feel like it is a perfect book with like so much of the childhood stuff in there. And it's like literally it's just one scene that's stopping like that from being the recommendation. Like, and I get it. I get the reason behind it, but it's like, dude, for kid wise, like, I mean, it's scary as well. There's a lot of like scary shit in there, but like, dude, that's like such a perfect childhood book. Though.
Yeah.
And I like when we talk about different seasons, like having like the body in there, like, you know, Stand By Me, like that, Stand By Me, the body, it feels like there's so much, that's just like a small slice of what it is. It is so much about like that coming of age tale and stuff. So, I think that's probably your answer though is within those couple books now.
Yeah, even with what you were saying about Carrie with bullying and stuff like that. I mean, Henry Bowers and It was a perfect example of what you were talking about with Carrie. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going with. If you think she can handle everything in It except for that scene, start her off on Firestarter.
Yeah,
maybe Salem Slot. Just to give it your best judgment.
I guess going along with what I said last is like, again, and it's like what Peter's saying and what I've said is that you ultimately, you know, your sister, but I would at least challenge you to consider the fact, is that scene enough to put her away from it? That's something.
Monster Games also makes a pretty valid point. There's the scene with Henry and Patrick in the garbage in the dump.
Yeah, that's true. There's
a couple things.
There's a couple, but yeah, it is one of those things. So I'm not even saying like to do it. I'm just saying that at least challenge it. Don't reject don't reject it on the fly. At least consider everything involved, including, I mean, but there is some pretty horrific stuff, like even just the Pennywise stuff is pretty terrifying, well beyond anything the movie did. So and ultimately that is where our interest is at, so just consider that as well. But if not, I think Firestarter, Carrie, and different seasons is probably or Eye of the Dragon. I think we could add that one.
I think those four, aside from It, would be our recommendation.
Yeah, I think that's I think that'd be a good recommendation for that.
That's the T&P recommendations there for you. Wait, should we do PT? No, that's copyrighted.
Or DTP.
DTP, there we go.
that
Dude, I never realized that. DTP. That has our initials in it. TP. Tad and Peter.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Dude, Tad and Peter.
So Joshua, let us know what you come to on that, and let us know how it goes too. We'd love to have some updates on that. Definitely love to hear new people getting involved in the Stephen King realm, and would love to see which one you end up deciding on. And let us know how it goes, good or bad. And also, like, it was Cody that mentioned, go with Audible if you have to. You know, if it isn't, if she's not registering with it, maybe try getting Audible and letting her
for sure
listen through something.
See you, Cody.
All right, see you later, Cody. Thanks for joining us. Always great to have you. Okay, let's see. Now we're going to jump back to the Wayback Machine, back to where the back to the bottom of the mailbag. But I did want to get that one in there because now you can see why. I feel like there's.
Yeah, I had a
I mean,
pressing request.
The kid might be 14 by the time we got to that email. I mean, even today with a lighter show, we're still a ways into it before we got into the emails. But
Tony makes one last good point. Check out the local library for digital books.
oh yeah, and I think they also have audiobooks at the library.
They do.
Too.
That's actually how I first did the Dark Tower on audiobook. Was I got the CDs from them, and I didn't.
I think they even have software now.
Yeah, where you can just have it transferred.
Yeah, and you check it out now. Of course, there's part of that miffs me because apparently they still have a limited number of copies, so you still might have to do waiting lists.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's a digital file for God's sake, freaking library. Stuff just annoys me.
Go ahead. You know you want to.
It's the same thing with like the digital books too, though. Like they only have a certain number of copies, so you might have to get on a waiting list for a freaking ones and zeros. It's like you can have unlimited copies. It's not like you have space that you're worried about. Like, oh, I can only fit 100,000 books in this place.
Yep.
Digital files.
You want to say it, or you want me to say it?
What?
Bastards.
Oh man. Okay, so next up is Ben from Ann Arbor. I believe he's written us before. Let's see.
Ann Arbor sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. So let's get into it here. Hi, Tad and Peter.
Hi.
I've been waiting to write in for a while, but I wanted to get closer to a current on the podcast before de-lurking. I like that.
So I'm guessing this is a first time, right?
It might be.
Sounds like it.
I swear we've had. I don't know. Maybe it's just somebody else from Ann Arbor. I'm about to start the film commentary episode, and it's a quiet Saturday before the Super Bowl.
Oh, good Lord. February? That's how far back we are? 4 months? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we seriously got to get caught up on emails, dude.
I know. It wasn't last time or the time before when somebody was all happy holidays.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man. It's like,
sorry, guys.
It's getting warm. So I figured I was close enough. So yeah, we're glad to finally get to your email, and we're gonna probably have to do. We keep talking about like doing a more heavily email episodes. We definitely have to do that because I always feel bad that we're so far behind on some of these. But they're always great conversations too.
Yeah.
And he says, quick intros. As I said, I am Ben, and I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Go Blue.
I get that reference.
I'm a latecomer to Cy King in general and The Tower. I've seen most of the movie adaptations, but I probably haven't read 3 King books in my life prior to last year. And he says I'm 43, just for reference. So I guess if nothing else, the movie and pre-release publicity, as well as the buzz around it and 11/22/63, created at least one new constant reader, and I'm definitely trying to make up for lost time.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff I love to hear. Like if someone is a newer King fan, like how did you come to it? So the buzz around it and 11/22/63 is bringing people not just to King, but obviously to Tower, it sounds like. So let's read on and see. On to The Tower. I read all 8 books last summer, and I'm currently doing my second journey with audiobooks, as I have about a 40 to 60 minute drive to and from work.
Sounds familiar.
After my first time through, I would have said The Wastelands was my favorite, followed by Wolves and maybe Wizard and Glass. Now I'd still say Wastelands, but followed by Wizard and Glass and The Gunslinger as 2 and 2A. He says, although I'm about to start the audio for Wolves, so that may change again. I do have a fondness for Calafolk.
They're great. They really are.
Then he says, as for a favorite character, Roland, obviously. Roland obviously is number 1 with a bullet, as they say. But I realized on my second go around just how much I love Cuthbert. And he says, drove past a taxidermy shop the other day and have a strong urge to go see if they have any rooks or crow's skulls. That would be fun to explain to my significant other.
What?
Oh man, we should just look on Etsy and see if there's like someone selling rook skulls. That would be a winning business opportunity for a Dark Tower, at least for the Dark Tower fans. And then he says, Peter, don't worry. I also like your boy Eddie. There's a personal connection there, but that's for a story for another time. I mean, if you like Cuthbert, I almost assume you like Eddie, but
right.
I mean, I don't. No, Eddie's all right.
Yeah, but you're a terrible person, so we don't count your opinion.
Eddie's all right. You just can't trust a junkie.
You mean like Flag?
Oh, Flag's not a junkie.
Yeah.
He's a good man, that Flag.
Where do you think all that coke went?
Oh, man. No, it's just it's like for me it's just a trust thing. Like again, it like kind of like Ben's saying here, but even just personal experiences in the past, having issues with family and loved ones and stuff with drug problems, and like it just kind of like puts you off of characters that are in that bad. Even though you have empathy for them, but it's one of those like you got to have your guard up, and I feel like that's happened to me in books where I'm just like I have my guard up on, with certain characters because it's like. I've experienced the others not being in that role, but being on the other side of it. It's just like you got to have your guard up. So like I feel like with guys like Eddie and stuff, like it and like even like I almost said Aaron Paul, Jesse from Breaking Bad, the same thing. You know, it's just one of those like keep your guard up type thing. And it took me a lot longer to fall in love with Jesse Pinkman in watching Breaking Bad than it would have other people. But that's just personal baggage you bring to it, I guess.
Well, you always have that track record of not seeing what a character's truly worth. I mean, you wanted to throw Oi off the bridge early on as well, so.
Yeah, and the first time I read it, without having any context, just thought he was just some vermin that was just, just a little bit of a distraction for the boy to get used to the new world. I didn't think it was that important. Yep. I'll admit that, yeah. Now, of course, you extend that into the whole series and make it sound like I've hated him that I continue to hate him and continue to want to throw him off a bridge. But no,
I'm still not convinced.
Just the first time.
Still not convinced. Flag would throw him off the bridge.
Well, then it might be the right choice then. I mean, Flag.
See?
Okay, this says I could go on, but I don't want to get too long here. I do want to say thank you both. Thanks to the both of you, though. Broken record here, but I don't know any other Tower fans, so it's nice to feel as though I do, and we can talk anytime I or we want to. And he says, I'd love to talk about other stuff too. I'm sure we have other common interests like Star Wars and comic sci-fi. Basically, you guys need to quit your jobs and start 10 different podcasts. That's great.
I'm going to go home and tell my wife I'm quitting my job to start 10 different podcasts with Tad.
Now,
see what she says.
Strangely, since I've typed all this stuff into or copied everything over into this, I haven't really read over this email for a while. But that actually does bring up something I was considering. So another podcast I listen to does like group hangouts, like whatever, wherever you might do that, whether it be in something like this where it's a chat, and we wouldn't necessarily be recording it for a show, but just like have a hangout where we just like talk about whatever we wanted. Would you be, first of all, would you be interested in something like that? And second of all, would the audience be interested in joining into something? Because then you kind of take off the formality of the show, and now we're just like, what do we want to talk about? Like maybe get to know us like outside of the realm of this show. If that's an interest the audience has, and that you would have to maybe do that on because like I've seen other shows that will do it. Like if they do like Patreon and stuff, they do like different things to like incentivize people to giving. We don't really do the Patreon thing, but I was thinking about it recently when a show started talking about their Patreon rewards, and I was like, oh yeah, like a hangout type, like people could chat and we could be talking and just like talk about whatever. Like I wonder if that would be something worth doing.
I'm down.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I mean, not that we don't do tangents anyway, but then we would have less of a worry about getting back on the main line. We could just be like, dude, what do we want to talk about, guys? Like whatever, like I don't know. I think it might be fun. Let us know audience wise. Let us know social media and stuff if you're interested in something like that. Because it just like I've been thinking about it all week, and I wasn't even going to bring it up, but now that I read that, I was just like, okay.
You dropped a Tad bomb on me.
Yeah, let's just
he doesn't talk to me about these things, guys. He just drops them in the middle of the show on me right here.
Yeah, no, because I didn't even think I was going to bring it up. Like, but once I read that last little bit here from Ben, I was just like, okay, yeah.
The other thing I wanted to throw your way, and I was going to wait till I'm off the air, but since we're dropping bombs in the middle and everything like that, are there conventions for King out there?
I don't know of any. I know there's like horror conventions, but I'm not aware of any King conventions.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if there was a King convention. I was like, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Wouldn't it?
I just don't think that in general.
I think we've talked about this before, haven't we?
Your conventions don't really revolve into like the literary realm as much. I mean, we know that King's bigger than that. Like he's a cultural icon at this point. But like, I just don't think it's normal.
I know they invite authors all the time to Comic Cons.
To Comic Cons and stuff, yeah. But like, but to have like a dedicated con for like King, I don't think that would be normal. I mean, think of some of the other big authors out there. I don't think anyone's done anything like that necessarily.
Fun.
Yeah. I mean, King with King fans and constant readers.
It would be really awesome if you graphs and do a panel. I'd host it. I'd ask him questions.
Who
wants to see a Dark Tower Palaver host a Stephen King panel at the first annual King-a-Con?
Hey, careful.
King Kong?
You're gonna start. That's get out of here. Get out of here with that crap. You will not come into my studio and pollute it with such horrible, horrible things.
That's what you get.
I don't care if you have a kid. Dad jokes like that. That's out of bounds, sir. That's out of bounds. As I'll say, also be careful there. It makes it sound like you're going to start organizing such things. And
No. Yeah, don't let me fool you. I'm way too lazy for that kind of business.
If there is one, though, we would definitely love to invite ourselves to.
Tell me when and where.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, King
Amusement Park.
I don't know if I trust that.
The Tunnel of Misery.
I would
instead
not,
of the Tunnel of Love.
I would not be. I don't think I'd go on any rides.
Okay, picture a king ride. Describe it to me. Go.
Oh man, the tunnel from The Stand comes to mind.
Ooh.
That would be a fun one, huh?
Instead of like a House of Mirrors or something like that, you have the Lincoln Tunnel filled with dead people and
like go full bore too. Don't make that like don't make it just like a little like the little like scary houses at like amusement parks that are just not even scary. No, it's just like
you go full bore. You go tat or you go home.
Yeah, indeed. What about you?
If someone's not coming out of that ride crying, Tad felt like he failed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think there needs to be a roller coaster, and I think it needs to be called the Overlook. It needs to be in the vein of a certain mountain that's in a certain park with a certain mouse. Matterhorn. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were like Space Mountain. Like what?
No, the Matterhorn, Space Mountain, yeah, all those ones.
No, what about a Blaine the Mono?
Ooh, that would be the roller coaster. Blaine the Mono.
Yeah.
There you go.
The big one that takes you from one side of the park to the other.
Yeah.
Like in like a second. Speed you across the thing.
You got your face like plastered back in that permanent smile after you get off. You look like you just had a whiff of Joker's laughing gas from Batman.
Oh, 1989. Good reference. I'm trying to think of like you could just do like bumper cars and there's just like one car that drives on its own and smashes into people. For Christine.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. King Amusement Park. There would be part of me that would just think that some horrible thing would befall me no matter what ride I went on. So I'd be really nervous. I don't know. That'd be fun.
Dark Tower roller coaster where you go to the top of the Dark Tower, you ride on the back of Martin. And then you go back,
Matron,
and then you go back and start it all over again. And you just sit there, you get stuck on there for 7 hours.
Yeah, the roller coaster doesn't let you off.
Let me off.
Krusty wants off.
Okay, there you go. Instead of funnel cakes, you have challah cakes.
Yeah,
or the challah.
Yeah, you can have the swimming pool area but it has lobstrosities that come after you.
That a chick?
Have like the wave pool, so like they come up closer and closer to you.
or instead, what you have is you have one of those little shooter games with the water, blow up the lobstrosity.
Or Dandelo, blow into Dandelo's mouth and inflate the balloon.
Yeah,
do that. Can you smuggle the drugs through TSA? Be another ride. the Eddie Dean ride.
Do the spinner where you have the shootout at the tower, Leaning Tower, where it's one of those spinning rides like the gravity ones.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's bad news though. All I'm saying, it's bad news.
It sounds like we can make a fortune doing this.
Don't trust St. Bernards. That's what I'm saying.
That would be like the mascot, a big guy in a St. Bernard costume running around. Cujo, come here, Cujo. He turns around, he's foaming at the mouth.
No, would you have characters though? Like have Flag walking around.
Why not?
And Pennywise and
Misery. What's her name?
Annie Wilkes.
Yeah, walking around with a freaking sledge or an axe. Either I think sledge would be a little bit more PG and less likely to cut someone.
This is Stephen King land though. There is no PG.
This is true.
You have a parade and it has the limo, the convertible limo, JFK.
Oh gosh,
Dealey Plaza. Oh man, and you got to choose whether you let it happen or not. Oh dude, too soon. It would be fun for sure.
It would be a lot of fun.
But yeah, it would definitely be. You'd have to have a lot of guts to go on some of the rides. That's all I'm saying.
You could just do an entire Stephen King like roller coaster part, like where at one point you're going through The Shining, so you're going down the hallway.
Yeah.
And you turn and there's the twins, and then you go towards them, and then you turn again, and all of a sudden you stop, and it looks like you're in a car, and Cujo comes running at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
We have the technology. We can build it.
And what do they say? You build it, they will come, right?
Hey, build it, he will come. That's the line. Right.
Okay.
I actually read that on Facebook, the quoted line.
Oh,
Luke, I am your father.
I don't think I've even seen that movie and since it
Dude.
came out almost.
Well, I was like this high,
Yeah.
like 2 feet off the ground.
Then Ben goes on and says, also, thank you for being positive about the movie. I was very disappointed, but I watched it again, and I got to the movie discussion, determined to focus on things I liked, and found that there were quite a few. And I think your positivity helped with that a lot. Lastly,
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And he says, lastly, thank you for the stand. After my first Tower read, I jumped right in, and yeah, MOON, that spells fantastic. Can't wait for the Unfound Door on this one, and on why Larry is the best character. Now, I was gonna say, I can't remember who your favorite character is with the stand.
Stu.
Stu?
Stu and Larry are like 1 and 1. I like Glenn.
Yeah. So I saw a Dreamcast
Mm-hmm.
for the stand recently, and they did the Boondock Saint that's in the zombie show as Larry.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, for one, he's about to be the lead of his new show, or of the show, apparently. So,
Yeah, a lot of rumors flying around about that show. I stopped watching a couple years.
I think it's been made pretty much official. The lead now is leaving the show.
Oh,
so,
really? Andrew
yeah.
Lincoln's done, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just rumors still.
No. So, yeah, they were talking about him for that. Can't remember who the other characters were necessarily, but yeah, it's definitely on the horizon. If you listened this far, you know I talked about it a little bit ago. The next book on my list after The Outsider. So basically, where I'm at right now is I'm going to wait for Peter to finish The Outsider so we can do that Unfound Door, and then I'll start The Stand because I don't want to pollute my mind by starting the next book until I've recorded the show. So, but it is on the horizon because yeah, I'm definitely just chomping at the bit to get on The Stand again because it's the longest I've been without reading it pretty much since I read it for the first time. I think the first time I read it, I went back and read it the next year. So it's like it's the longest I've ever gone since opening that book for the first time without reading it. So
Monster Games brings up another character I forgot about, Nick. Good character.
Oh yeah, dude. It's full of so many good characters. That's the problem with that book. It's like in my opinion, it's not as easy as Dark Tower to pick a favorite character. There's a lot of great characters in Dark Tower as well, but I feel like there's a lot of like unlikable ones and like whatever. Whereas like The Stand is like full of like a lot of likable and relatable characters.
Yeah, you got an entire town in Boulder that's likable characters, except for the two that.
I mean, even Flag's right hand man, I feel like you can get the feeling for.
Lloyd.
Lloyd, yeah.
Easy name for me to remember.
I couldn't. I was thinking of it. I knew it was an L name, but I was blank. It's been 2 years. 2 years since I've read it, but yeah, like Lloyd. I feel like Lloyd's one that early on, he does some stuff, but like I feel like you get to feeling for him as the book progresses.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like so even quote bad guys.
But I thought you didn't trust a junkie.
I mean, he betrays my boy, so I can't trust him.
Doesn't betray him.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't blow the whistle on those guys. They're gonna leave.
He doesn't have to. Hey, we're getting into spoiler territory for this. So we'll save that for the Unfound Door.
That's vague enough. I'm just saying he's a treacherous one.
No, he's not.
He wants to help his friends instead of
no. I'm going to write that down. You're wrong on that.
Oh man. Okay.
I can't believe I'm defending a Flag henchman to you.
Well, I don't think he's a henchman enough. I think he needs to be more loyal.
Wow.
Okay, and then Ben goes on and says, I'll sign off with a question or a discussion point brought on by The Stand, actually. Cry your pardon if it's been talked about previously. Given Flag's abilities with the crows or the crow form, I've decided that Flag is Zoltan. No other bird talks, and he's got a Flag/Man in Black type of personality and sense of humor. Does anyone agree or disagree with this interpretation? That is actually true. We never see another like animal in a realm of like a normal animal that we have that talks, but Zoltan does. I've never really considered that before, but I actually kind of like it. And it does have kind of a macabre view. And wouldn't that be just like Flag to be in the middle of all that listening?
Well, doesn't Roland even suspect Brown?
Yeah.
Like, you could even be a figment of him, but I still got to tell my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be just like Flag to transform into the bird and just be chilling there, listening to the whole thing, just taking all the joy and the fact of like everything he's been through? That's a good one, Ben. I like that.
Ooh.
I like that. Because you know what? Now that I think about it, when I first read it, I actually, honest to God, thought that we would go through and see more talking animal, like just because it's a different universe or whatever, and like you almost just take that as like a thing where it's just like, oh yeah, cool, like this is a norm here. Like a crow talks like a parrot in our world would. So I just expected there to be more weird. And now that I think about it, I don't think I ever really went back to that thought until this very moment where it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, you have Billy Bumblers, but even them, they don't really talk. Roland says that they're almost beyond talking. So
they stopped.
Yeah, they stopped talking. So it's like always kind of an outlier,
which makes me wonder if that's what Zoltan was too.
Could be.
Yeah,
I mean,
possible.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting thought. I never considered that before, but yeah, in the stand, he definitely does have the ability to turn into crows and back and forth. And then Ben finishes up here, says, signing off for now, gunslingers, typing this on a wonky tablet keyboard, and I've reached the limit of my patience. Yeah, that's the one thing that tablets are definitely not known for good things, is their keyboards. And then he signs off, long days and pleasant nights, signed Ben from Ann Arbor. So yeah, thank you, Ben, for emailing. Yeah, I guess I'm totally mistaken. Apparently, you that is your first email. So I don't know what I'm smoking to thinking that you've emailed before.
I think there was someone else from Ann Arbor.
Maybe somebody else from Ann Arbor. I mean, if it's familiar to you, it makes me think there may have been someone else, and I apologize to whoever that might be. But see, the other thing for me is, like, when I typed this into this thing, it was so long ago now that it's like I could even really be having flashbacks to when I originally put it in. But if you're remembering it, makes me think that maybe there was someone else. So.
Or I'm just saying that to mess with your mind.
Yeah, it sounds like something you would do.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's going to be we're running about out of time now. Again with
tangents.
Yeah, tangents. But what we're going to do is when we come back from the because we're going to do a book club next, and then when we come back after that and into our roundtable things, we're going to make a concerted effort. News obviously could come up, and who knows.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it a point to try to get into more of these emails to kind of go through them. I do know on some of these later ones I put in just more recently, some people have said that they're holding off on sending emails because they know we're kind of behind. So don't be worried about that now, because what are we looking at today? It's June, so we have one more episode of June. It'll be the book club. So by the end of July, our goal is that we'll
clear out the mailbag.
We'll go through and get a bunch of the mail stuff, because honestly, there's a lot of great discussions in here. Just even kind of thumbing through it real quick. We have some people that have answered in with their top 4 Stephen King books, and we have some really cool in-depth discussions. So I feel like there'll be some really cool conversations to be had. So yeah, with some of the questions we asked during the course of this episode, or any thoughts you guys might have, go ahead and send those emails. Don't be worried about the fact that we're backed up, because over the next few shows we'll go ahead and get that cleared out. Also, I know a lot of people are reading The Outsider right now because it's new.
Yeah.
So if you have emails on that and want those to send those in for the Unfound Door episode and be part of that conversation, send those whenever whether you have to finish it and then send the email, or whether you have thoughts while you're reading it. But send those emails, because I feel like this is the first time that we've gone through a new book.
A new book since they came out, and we mentioned it. Like, we had books come out, and we just never mentioned them before, because the third...
but did we jump on any
never jumped on any of them, no.
So with us jumping on it, I feel like we're timing this up to where this will be one of the first Unfound Door episodes that will be like a confluence of a lot of fans at the same time reading it. Right. So send those emails in, because I would love to have a conversation with all you guys about this book as you guys finish it.
Yeah, and email us at darktowerpalaver@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/darktowerpalaver. Find us on Twitter. It's darktowerpod, and that's darktower @darktowerpod. And then also find us on YouTube. It's youtube.com/darktowerpalaver. You can watch old shows or tune in live when we go live, like we are right now.
Yes, indeed. Well, if you're listening to the podcast, not live anymore, but
yeah, and thanks to the people who showed up today.
Yeah.
Chris, Cody, Monster Games. First time I've seen Monster Games. Is that
no? He came. He was here. He was here one other time, at least one other time, if not more. Do we have anybody else that peeked in? No. Okay. Just kind of scrolling through it, just to make sure we didn't forget. But yeah, thanks to everyone that joined in. We're doing these things live. This will be about the same time, so kind of Saturday evenings, about 6:30 to 7 o'clock Mountain Time was when we'll be doing these. So we'll be back next time for a book club. If you guys want to subscribe to us, you could do that on iTunes. You could stream us on Stitcher. If you could do reviews of iTunes, we would appreciate that. And then also, if you want to check out the new website, go to darktowerpalaver.com. And check out the show notes. Check out the questions for new listeners. If you are a new listener and you've been holding off on emailing for some reason, go check out that post and fill out an email using that. Some of those questions, you don't have to do all of them. Do what you need to do to get an email, and send it in. Introduce yourself, and welcome to the quartet. So,
and again, fans, if you're still listening, send the emails. We're not going to hold off anymore. We'll have the mailbag cleared out by the end of July, hopefully.
Yeah, we almost even thought about doing this one without the comic book, but I don't know why I wanted to make sure I feel like I want to get
it was fresh in our mind. We both just recently read it, so it was good to do it.
Yeah, totally. So thanks for joining us, everyone that's live and everyone on the podcast. See you next time for going into probably the gunfight here pretty soon.
Hopefully. We always get so sidetracked with my boy. He's so good.
But I think we're getting to the point now where it's almost unavoidable because then they just get into the bathroom and
I think that's where
they're arguing about whether they're going to close the door. Basically, is about where we got.
Where we stopped.
So I don't feel I feel like we're going to get we're at least going to get Andolini is going to get got
at least
at least that much. Because I'm trying to think of all the other stuff that's in there that might throw us off from getting to the actual big gunfight. There might be some stuff, but who knows? So until next time, everyone listening to the podcast, as we always say, as we sign off, long days and pleasant nights.
Long days and pleasant nights, folks.
And everyone in the chat, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
It's been great. You guys are always awesome to chime in, and also even helping us with that email from Joshua. That's awesome. That's definitely an interesting
that's awesome
dichotomy to be in, but it's a great place to be. So thank you guys for your help on that. Thanks for all the input. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you guys a couple weeks from now, almost.
Book club.
Yeah, well, about a couple hours less than 2 weeks, and you'll be with us live at the same time. So book club, join us then, and see you guys next time.
See ya.